And while it's going on, whether we're losing or we're winning, I'm still focused on them. All I want to do is I want to beat your ass. Neftali was the dude. Like, he was legit. Like, I'm not trying to, suck him off or anything like that. He was literally that guy. That was the one time I can actually say I was scared for my life, because I was like, I'm about to die. So I look up and he was like, you won't wipe your ass with it. Just yells it to me. I'm like, that, yeah, I will.
No, he did. He's got it. 1-0.
Before we introduce you, we're rolling, so let's just keep it going.
We're speeding.
What's the worst beat you've seen on a plane? You played for a long time.
Beat?
Card. Yeah,
man.
The worst. I mean, you don't have to say the guy's name if you don't want to out him, but what's the most money you've seen someone lose on
they wouldn't
travel?
Care. The most I've seen, I watched Vicente Padilla.
What a name.
He lost to Frankie Francisco his car. And as soon as we landed, I don't know where we were coming back, but we came back from wherever. And once we got back, Frankie took the keys, got the car. It was a convertible. It was I want to say it was like a BMW or something like that.
Yeah.
Put the top down and everything, yelled at Vicente and drove off. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Man. Everything I've heard about Vicente, that is...
Oh, it's crazy. That dude is a nut
I would
job.
probably give that car back.
I will. I mean, I'm sure he's not going to watch, but I would never say anything bad about him. He was always great to me.
Yeah.
And helping me out. But yeah, dude, crazy dude. But to lose, like, I'm not kidding. It was easily 60 grand at least. That's a minimum.
And one hand?
One hand. But they put the keys on the table, played for it. He won.
What game would this have been where
Bure.
Bure. So like
Bure.
it just got to a point where like
it just kept racking up.
It just kept racking, and like, okay, instead of bringing out the checkbook, they're like, we're playing for cars.
Well, you always have a guy that's an ATM.
Yeah.
First off, you guys know this as well. And this was just to the point to where it was like, nobody cares about an ATM. Padilla, just being Padilla, was like, here's the keys, and put them on the table. And Frankie just walked away with it. Like, it was something, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just something you're like, oh, like as a rookie, because this is my first year. So it's like, don't play this game.
Yeah.
Like, stay away. And you watch that happen. And then, yeah, I never wanted to play from there. But as soon as we got off the plane, everybody's like, all right, time to go home. No, not Frankie. Frankie was like, get the car, put the top down. Hey, Vicente, hey, mama huevo. He just goes and takes off, just yelling at him.
That's hilarious.
It was wild.
That's like one of the, we love talking about like welcome to the show moments and things like that. But
that's definitely welcome to the show.
The card games on the plane are things that are almost like a rite of passage, and there's really no like entry level. It's like you're either going to get in the game or you're not getting in the game, and there's a huge gap in money that's sitting at the table. And when we played together, I was a little fortunate. I had gone through ARB, so I had a little bit of money. But then I remember I'm sitting at a table. You're at the table. Jeff Samardz's at the table. Brandon Belt, Evan Longoria, Johnny Cuevo, and Pablo Sandoval. And I'm like, all these guys, and then there's me. One of these guys doesn't fit in at this table, right? And it was like I had to play so scared because they're playing with money that like I can't even like really afford, or I can't go home and justify to my wife like, hey, I was having fun on the plane, but I just lost the house.
Yeah, but it's not even that. It's more of like because of the guys you named. So think of those guys, Cueto, Longoria, Samardja. They can bully you. Yeah. Because they have nothing to lose. And you and myself, we're all being smart. Like, cool, we made some money. There's no doubt. Yeah. But we don't have their money. They have like a different level. And it's just like, they see you and it's like, if we played poker or boo-ray, whatever the case may be, they look at you and it's like, okay, cool. I'll bet you this. I'll go all in.
Their rules
They'll
are
push
different.
you. Yeah, they will push. And it's like, now you start sweating like, damn, I know I have like pocket rockets right now, but I don't know if I can do it. Like that's the difference
it's
between them.
It's funny because we had Carp on and he talked about kind of being a fly on the wall early in his career of like observing, some of the great players that he played with. I felt like I was a fly on the wall when I was playing cards, when I was a young guy. And I learned like, okay, I could play in these games. And there's going to be times, like you said, I might feel like I have the best hand, but I'm going to be bullied out.
Yeah.
But then I also learned there's opportunity to make some money too, because those guys didn't care about it as much as I did.
Yeah.
That's the difference though. They like you cared. They were like, who cares, man? I just found this in the couch.
The guys who were able to like kind of just like literally keep their pulse the same and just kind of like, you know, all right, I know when to back out, know when to go in. Those guys, they could double their paychecks in a month.
Oh, they made that money just talking to you.
Yeah.
That was Napoli's favorite thing to say to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I made this much just signing this autograph.
I played in a different market as a young guy. I played with some older guys that had done well, like Derek Lowe, Johnny Damon. Like,
I know. I saw your story, by the way, that you put on your podcast. I watched it. You were talking about your debut and everything. You had Derek Lowe. You faced Jim Tomey. All that. Like that stuff. Like, to me, I love hearing that. As somebody that's played the game, obviously we all played everything. Hearing everybody's stories makes it that much better,
dude. 100%. And let's get into yours, because that's why we're here. And so today on the show we have 13-year big leaguer, Derek Holland, Texas Rangers royalty. Also a member. I think this is one thing that I think is easy to forget, but I think as players, it's something that is definitely like a feather in your cap. Is you were a member of the 2013 WBC team, which those don't. I mean, that's, as players, like, fans may not think much of that, but everybody I know that's been a part of a WBC, they're like, dude, that is something that they were extremely proud of. Was that something for you?
Yeah, I mean, I had family members that served in the military. If I had not played baseball, I was actually going to go as a Marine.
Really?
And a lot of people don't know that. Like,
you don't really
to give you like
me as Marine.
Yeah, I know, and that I know because I'm a goofball. But growing up, like, that was something I wanted to do. A lot of my friends were going to do it. We all grew up together, and I'm not trying to sidetrack, but I'm going to give the quick story of it. Is before I got drafted, I was walking in high school, and a military guy came up, a
recruiter,
yeah. And he walked up and he goes, "Man, what are you going to do with your life?" And I said, "Well, my goal is to play baseball."
Got a pretty good fastball.
Yeah, not at that time. And he was like, "Well, you know what the chance of you making it are?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's slim." And he goes, "Yeah, it's like 1 out of 1,000,000." I said, "Okay, cool. I'm going to do that." And he's like, "But you have a better chance of being something by joining the Army." I said, "Okay, I appreciate that. I'm going to take that home with me and I'm going to use it." So fast forward, whatever, I write it down. And where I was from in Ohio, my dad had his own little gym downstairs. We're talking like nothing crazy.
Yeah.
You got a couple, you got a barbell, you got some dumbbells, whatever.
Yeah. And
I wrote down on a piece of cardboard that says, "Army says you can't." And I used that as motivation. Now my grades, and I preach this to all my kids at coaching, everything, like, my grades were terrible. I had a 2.5. I think it's just enough to be able to play college ball.
Enough. Yeah.
It was just enough. And I used that as inspiration. And my dad kept it, whatever, and went down to school at Alabama, junior college, turned my life around, found God, turned my life around, grades, everything. Graduate, make my debut, all that cool stuff. My dad has that sign to this day.
Really?
Yes. And it
just
says,
on a standard piece of
it's
cardboard.
a piece of cardboard, like literally like a box, cut it out, everything. I wrote on it. And every time that I would do something down in his gym or whatever, I would see it. It was in my head. Like, Army said you can't. You got to push yourself. You got to do it.
That is
so I use that. And
awesome.
A lot of people don't know that because I don't like to use that because for me, Army was everything. Military is everything to me.
Yeah.
Like, I do stuff with military. I would find people in the stands, bring them out. If you're military stuff, I'll bring you out for BP.
Yeah.
That was my whole thing. And so I used that, whatever inspired me. And to this day, like, I try to tell that to kids, like, your grades aren't everything. You got to make sure that you focus on that. Or sorry, I said that wrong. Your grades are everything. You need to take care of that because baseball is not going to be your final destination.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you still need to have a degree. You need to have everything else, take care of yourself, because if baseball falls through, you need something to fall back on.
Well, I think to your point is the same drive that you had. Like, granted, like, there's a turning point in your life. Like, you went Newark, Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Newark High School so your grades, was that the main driver of you going to Wallace in Alabama, or was it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had, like,
did you have any big schools talking to you that you just didn't make the grades?
I had a letter from Tennessee as a walk-on, like, try to come and walk on. Cause I mean, I was a beanpole, tall, lefty, whatever.
Okay. So you weren't like a draft and follow guy or anything?
I was. I ended
you
up
were
being
draft
one.
and follow?
Yes. After my first year at Wallace.
Okay.
Tampa drafted me.
What round?
I was 25th round, so whatever, 750th pick.
Okay, so that was 2005 draft?
2006.
2006 draft.
I graduated, went down there, played 1 year, and then I got drafted after our first year there.
Yep.
And what's crazy about that, which is funny, Texas talked to me, made one comment to me, what's your grades? Left. The Braves, Braves, Red Sox, and the Rays were standing there, and they kept talking to me after the World Series because I was in the JUCO World Series then.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, the Rangers don't care about me. Like, what the hell? That was weird. And then, we kept talking, whatever, leave. And then I get drafted by Texas, became draft and follow.
Got it.
And then that was it.
Did the grades improve? Because clearly you talked
Yeah.
about how the grades were not, or an issue in where you wanted to go. They came up and asked you about your grades. You then improved those grades. Do you think that's a big reason they ended up drafting you besides your talent, but maybe this idea that you had this follow through, like this change of heart, this change of maybe maturity too?
Yeah, I think that was 100% it. I think once I got there, I realized too, as soon as there's no more mom and dad. Like I'm in Alabama. Like if I want my parents, they're 8.5 hours away. So I knew that like, if I want to get my shit together, like I need to go. I need to focus. I need to do what I got to do. I got to take care of school. I got to take care of everything else. Baseball will take care of itself because I know my work ethic's there, but I have to focus on school. I need a backup plan. And that's what I kept telling myself. And I turned everything around. And the other thing too, is like, that's where I really found God more than anything. I come from a religious background, but not like being in Ohio. It's not the same as being down south. I don't know your whole backstories, but like for me, once I got to Alabama, it was like the first practice we had, we prayed and I didn't know what to do. Like, I'm not going to lie. I sat there and they're like, hey, Derek, they call me Derek then. So I was like, okay, yeah, that was my first nickname. And I was like, what's going on? And they're all huddled up. And so I got in it and then we did prayer. And then I realized every day somebody different was leading it. And then I was like, man, I really need to find God. I gotta figure this out. And that was my first turning point. And then second was one of my teammates, Jamie Manning, was like, hey man, he's a smart dude, like nerd, everything, but also good
in junior college.
Yeah. He's like, hey man, if you need help with school, let me know. And he helped me out, helped me get my grades where they needed to be. Obviously with the God thing, that helped out so much to turn my life around. Like I said, I was a goofball before. It was one of those, as I like to put it, and my dad would say it too, and I know your parents would say the same thing. I was a know-it-all. We thought we knew everything. And then I realized once I got there, I don't know shit, dude. I gotta figure it out. And that was like my big wake-up call. That was my coming to Christ, but also coming to life. Like,
so before you hit that, let's go back to like your childhood, grew up in Ohio. You feel like you didn't come from like structure, or you being a know-it-all didn't allow you to apply yourself in school, or did you feel like you weren't smart, or it was just that you just felt like you knew everything and you didn't really take well to kind of like authority at school?
I would say, I wouldn't say I didn't know it all, I wasn't like dumb, but it was just like, it was one of those things that, you try to be a jock and it's like, man, baseball is going to be it. And it's like, we don't realize that there's thousands of people trying to compete for the same thing, and you think that you have it. There's like, I like to put it in today's perspective, is a lot of these kids think it's like, here you go, we're going to take you and you're going to go right to the big leagues. No, that's not how it works. You got to put the work in. I was one of those that was like, I got this, whatever. And then I realized I got humbled pretty quick, is once I saw that I'm not getting looked at, I'm not getting scholarships or anything, and I saw my grades weren't the greatest. It was like, dude, I'm like screwing up. I gotta figure this stuff out.
You really, and like at that point too, a lot of times that realization comes pretty late, where it's like, man, like I can't go back
100%
and redo the first 3 years of my high school career and like make my grades better, right? Like now, I've got but you did, like, I'm not saying it was a second opportunity, but like the hill you had to climb was a lot steeper than if you'd have just done the work in the first place.
I could put it this way. I did. Like you said, it was like, man, I really got to put my work in, both in the schoolroom, but also, or in the classroom, but also on the field. I went to school down in Alabama at that college with Mr. Ohio. And he was the face of Ohio. He was literally that dude. He was kind of I'm not going to say he was in the same boat as me. His grades probably weren't as, like, he might've been better when it comes to grade wise, but talent wise, no, he was 100%. I would take it to the grave. He was definitely better than me. But it was just one of those things to where if you don't figure it out, you're going right back to Ohio, and it's not going to be good. Like my hometown now, and I pray for it to get better. It's kind of a drug kind of place. It's not really
where
good.
is Newark? Is it Columbus?
It's east of Columbus.
East of Columbus?
Yeah. But it was life changing. Like I said, as soon as I got down there, dude, I'm not kidding. The light came on, everything was clicking. I figured it out. My coaches did a great job of making me who I am today, which I have a funny story to it, which we can get into it whenever, but it was eye opening. It was something that I wish, and that's why I preach it so much to the kids that I'm around. You guys got to focus on schoolwork. You got to take care of business now. Don't wait. Don't rely on your baseball career or any of that. Like, baseball is second.
Yeah.
You need to focus on your career. I mean, your schoolwork, everything else, because I promise you, you don't know what that baseball ticket is. You can figure everything out when you do your schoolwork. You can take care of yourself that way, and baseball can take care of it after.
I think one thing that we've talked about, and like we've had an opportunity to have some unbelievable guests so far. Like we had Chris Carpenter on just the other day, but I think the thing, and this show is kind of born out of this conversation where it's like, now you're starting, because, you know, social media, like a lot of stuff is just like in your face all the time, right? Like I know, you know, Austin Jackson was on here, right? And he was talking about like, I was apparently the #1 player in the country, but I didn't know it until someone showed it to me in a Baseball America magazine subscription, because I didn't have the subscription, and there's no such thing as Facebook, Instagram, like all those things, right? Now that stuff's everywhere. And so now there's such a focus in youth sports like, I mean, my oldest son is playing 8 and under baseball, and there's rankings for that, right? Like it's crazy.
Nuts.
There's rankings for that. And it's like, man, none of that stuff really matters, but there's such a focus on it all the time, where it's like, man, the skill sets that you're focusing on, like your ability to hit well in coach pitch, or your ability to do these things at 12 or 13, even 15, 16, like the skill itself doesn't matter right now. Like the skill itself doesn't matter. The long-term skills, like when you talk about like your awakening that kind of happened at Wallace, like it's not like you went down there and they made you a better player, and then you became more disciplined, then you became more resilient, no, you had to become more disciplined. You had to focus on all these other things that they transcend the field, right? Like those things are important everywhere, right? Like discipline, self-respect, resilience, toughness, like all those things, like those things will help you on a baseball field, but like you can't do it backwards. And I feel like nowadays, like everything is so backwards. It's like, let's get this right first. And then, you know, it's like, no, man, like this, like your stats or your record at 13, 14, 15, like even if you're undefeated and you've never given up a run as a pitcher, if you don't have these 3 or 4 other things, you're cooked. Like it's not going to work.
It's more of how you deal with humility more than anything. And it's also, as I look at it too, is there's no more mom and dad. It's more of like, you got to do things. You got to figure it out. Because I think that's what made me that much better, is I didn't have mom and dad to go to. Yeah. And again, once I got down there, you know, you talk about like, you know, you were down there, whatever, and coaches made me actually who I am today. If it wasn't for, and I will give them the credit all day, Coach Putman and Coach Davis, if it wasn't for them, I'd probably still be where I am for the most part, but they put the fear of God into me, basically. Like they made me who I am. They showed me what my true potential was from day one. Because when I got there, I was probably throwing 86, 88. And then I just remember, and that's why I want to go ahead and go into it, is I remember the one game I came into the fall, throwing 86, 88, whatever.
Your fall, your first year?
First year. Start out, and then we go into the spring and we play against South Alabama. And I get out there in my first inning. So I was throwing 86, 88 in the fall. My first pitch in the spring, I was throwing harder. I was hitting 90. So they had definitely got the growth and everything, the muscle, everything out of me. But my first inning, I was sitting 86. And I'll never forget, and I can still see it to this day. First guy, I walk him. Second guy, walk him. Coach Putman comes out to the mound and literally depants me like on the field. Just, I don't know what I can say or can't say.
You want.
Okay. He motherfucked me like no other. If you were sitting in the parking lot in center field, you heard our conversation. He killed me, crushed me, everything, you name it. Like anything that he could possibly say that you've ever heard, I guarantee he said it. He motherfucked me so hard. And I'll never forget, as soon as he walked off the mound, I got so pissed. Never threw a pitch after that in that game under 90. And it turned my whole life around. Like it just took that one little thing to realize I have something, but I have to put the work in and I have to do it. And a lot of these kids that I deal with today is we're scared to pitch to contact. We're scared to attack the zone or whatever the case may be. No, dude, as soon as he did that, I didn't give a shit. I don't care who you are. I'm coming after you. And I threw it. And that was like the game changer for me is I got to hear something different and it woke me.
Do you think when he came out, do you think part of you also saw that Army recruiter like telling you, hey, you're never going to amount to nothing. Why don't you just take this road? Do you feel like that prepared you? Because there's a lot of people that you could go one of two ways in that situation. You could fold on the mound and go into a shell and be the same guy you were, or you could take that motivation as constructive criticism and this attitude that, oh, you sound like that guy who came to my school as a senior. Now I'm going to show you in addition to that guy as well. I
didn't look at it that way, and I probably should have, in all honesty. It was more of when he came out and like literally like, you know, from basically the driveway walking, I could hear him saying something. And that's when I went, fuck. And then as he kept saying stuff, it was just like, be a fucking man. Here it goes. This is it. He's doing this for a reason. That's what I kept telling myself. He's doing this for a reason. He's doing it for a reason. And then as soon as he yelled everything into me, it's like, man, he's right. That's all I said to myself. He's right. What am I doing? Stop trying to nibble. Stop trying to be perfect. Stop trying to just place things. Go get it. And after that, it was just, I don't know how to truly describe it. Like we've all gone through it. I know you guys have experienced it as well. As soon as it hit me, it was just like, all right, here we go. See what you can do. And then I took off.
The college at Wall State, there's some notable alumni out of there. One in particular, Craig Kimbrell.
Yep. He was my teammate, and he was, I call him my roommate. We were literally, our apartments were right next to each other. Like we shared basically.
Yeah.
I mean, we were always together, in our class. And, so we went to I'm not trying to put that out there, but like our my second year, we had 7 dudes get drafted, and we lost to Walters State, and they had 10 dudes get drafted.
Yeah. I went to junior college as well in Florida, and like I knew of both of those places in Alabama. Like they were known.
It was unreal. That was the cool thing, is knowing that where I was at, I was definitely going to get seen. But at the same time, you don't think like that. Like, to me, it was like, who gives a shit? And my dad gave me the best piece of advice. There's somebody in the stands that's never seen you pitch before. Give him a reason to come back.
So so we're going to get to your career, but what you're doing now, I think is really cool. You're pitching coach at University of Texas, Dallas, right? Do you kind of share these messages with those guys? Because we all sitting in here, we come from a kind of a similar background in terms of maybe being undervalued, underappreciated. But I felt like my superpower was I want to go somewhere where I could play, right? You know, it wasn't sexy for me to go to Cal State Dominguez Hills, but it was like, you could have walked on at Tennessee, but who knows when you got a chance.
Correct.
Do you share that with the guys? Like, hey, I want better for you, but if you can't get to these big D1 schools, go play. Because like you said, the message is there's always someone watching you. You have an opportunity to prove yourself.
Yeah, I've said that multiple times to him. I try to preach that to him. I also try to preach to him, pitch to contact. Don't be afraid. You know, who cares? Let him hit it. There's 7 guys behind you that's going to make a play. If you go out there and attack the zone, everything else will take care of itself. But my biggest thing is, at the end of the day, what do you got to lose? You have nothing. You have nothing to lose. If you go out there and you compete and you give everything you have, and you can walk off that mound and say, I gave everything I had, those guys will know it too. And that's what it really comes down to. I mean, I've said everything is, I've told them before, there's somebody in the stands. I do it to all my starters, literally every start, because I walk with them and I'll be like, look, there's somebody that's never seen you pitch. Make them come back and watch you again. Make them come back. let them know who you are. And it's work for the most part, but at the same time, you have to watch how you say things. I feel like we're all old school. I know the big thing, and it drives me insane. Everybody's all about analytics. And I always tell them too, nobody cares how hard you throw a ball for.
Mm-hmm.
If you can throw hard and you throw strikes, I promise you'll go somewhere. But if you're worried about how hard you throw or how much your spin rate is or anything like that, you ain't going nowhere. You need to focus on location, take care of pitches, like mix in and out, take care of that, and you'll be fine.
Dude, the game hasn't changed. I know the analytics and the way we measure it has, but like at the end of the day, like the mound's 6 feet 6 inches away.
Never
The
changed.
plate's 17 inches wide. You know, I mean,
Number
the
of
base
outs is the same.
I mean, they're
Defenders
still
are in the same
hardest pitch
relative
hit, still down
position.
away heater. Like, I mean, you still got to throw strikes. You know,
You're a hitter. We've both have you faced him?
Yeah.
Okay,
1 for
so
3.
you know what it's like. Like we challenge you, right? We go after you. We're not afraid, just like you're not afraid of us. You're trying to kill me. I'm trying to kill you. That's the instinct that I try to put into these kids is that guy that's at that plate wants to murder you, but you need to want to murder him too. You can't just go up there and be like, here you go.
Yeah.
You got to challenge him because he's challenging you.
Yeah, I think that was one of the best pieces of advice I got in my career was, and it didn't take away from my competitiveness, but you have to also understand in baseball, it's a game of failure, right? Like you're going to fail a lot, especially on the offensive side, right? And I had a teammate tell me once that, hey, that guy on the mound drives a nice car too. And it like put my whole world in perspective.
Yeah.
Like that guy's job, his sole purpose of standing on that mound is to get me out. My job is to get a hit. Like I'm not going to win every battle. It doesn't mean I need to concede to him, but
Right.
there also has to be this understanding like that guy's really good at what he does too. He's probably worked just as hard as I worked to get here too. And I think when I heard that, I was like, okay, then this freedom came over. It's like, okay, he's good. I'm good. Someone's going to win. The statistics show that I'm probably not going to win as many times, but I just need to win once.
I think that's the big thing too that people don't realize is like same thing, me versus you. Okay, I faced you on the mound. You earned that right to be here too, just like I did. We're no different. We all are supposed to be here for a reason. You're good at what you do. I'm good at what I do. It's a battle now between who's the better that at bat.
yeah.
And that's what the kids don't understand is sometimes it's like, you know, you get to the college, you guys are both here for a reason. You need to go out and make a statement just like he has to go make a statement.
I think one of the things too that works against you as a college player, I remember battling this as a player is like, because I went to a smaller school, but like say we were playing Florida or Florida State, right? Two of the bigger schools in the state. And it's like, well, he's, you know, like he got there and that can very easily creep in of like, they're different, right? Like there's tiers to this thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about being in the big leagues is like, there ain't no level above this one, right?
Yep,
like you
this
get
is
there
it.
and it's like, dude, like just because you're wearing that uniform or I'm wearing this uniform, like we are both one of 750. That is it. But in college, like it can be a different game, but there's so many great players that we talk about that they're from that call them the tier 2s or the mid majors. Like, you know, we're just talking about Kimbrel. Like, dude, like, I don't know who yours was for you, but like we all have peers that like are like the pinnacle of our position, right? Like the guys like it's easy for me, like as a closer to be like, dude, Billy Wagner was like a guy, right? Like John Smoltz when he was closing, like a guy. It's easy, but like Kimbrel and I, I'm pretty sure the same age. And I'm like, bro, he's at the top, right? He's the guy that we are all looking to like model our games after. And he was it for me and Wall State Community College.
Well, that's,
you know what I mean? Like that's one of the greatest things about baseball.
Did you see it in him there? Like you guys were teammates.
Man,
You saw him at the very kind of beginning of his career. Obviously, he grew up in Alabama, I'm pretty sure, right?
Mhm.
Goes to
Huntsville.
Wallace State. And, you know, if he was better than Wallace State at the time, he probably would have gone somewhere, right? But
I think grades was it too.
Grades.
Yeah, grades was definitely it if I had to guess. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. But you think about this. This is what people don't know. He was a starter.
Yeah, dude. So I remember him.
He was lights out, and I'll never forget. And I'm not saying this is what caused it. I mean, he did become one of the greatest closers that we got to witness. But he was a starter, and he hit somebody in the face, and kind of like I don't want to necessarily say he got the yips because he didn't, but it became okay. We can't start him. We're going to put him at the back end, and he became the 7, 8, 9. And dude, as soon as you got to the 7th. All right, Craig, you got it.
Dude, he went from the draft to closing in Atlanta. And
he didn't do this, by the way. He did not do that.
He didn't do that.
He didn't start doing that until he was with the Braves. But it's like what you were saying too. This is something that I think a lot of people would appreciate too by hearing from us is that moment when we were all in the big leagues. So obviously me and you pitchers, he's a hitter. That moment that when it really hit me is when I faced King Griffey Jr. I faced him and I was like, holy fuck. Like that's my idol.
What year was that?
2009.
So, all right. So your rookie year.
So my rookie year, I was like,
he was with
I made
Cincinnati?
it. No, he was with the Mariners.
The Mariners. Okay.
I was like, okay, I'm really here. Now that's the first moment, but the real moment, because I faced Jeter before. That was the real first moment. But with the Jeter thing, that was cool too, is I'm facing the Yankees, ESPN, friends from back home. They're all watching.
Is this in Texas or New York?
This is in Texas.
In Texas.
And Jeter does that whole thing, and I love it. It's one of the coolest things. Yes, that's it. He does this. So I get set, and I'll never forget. I'm set, whatever, and I'm looking. I got my sign. I'm ready to go, and Jeter hasn't acknowledged me yet. And I'm not paying attention to that.
Yeah.
And I start my windup, and all of a sudden he steps out. Umpire calls time, and Michael Young's at third, and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" What do you mean? What
Playing
am I
baseball.
doing?
What are you doing?
I'm throwing the fucking first pitch. Like I don't care. Throw it, whatever. And I realized once I got done, he pulls me aside when we get in the dugout. He's like, "Hey, you got to wait until he's ready. When he acknowledged you, that's it." So after whatever, I see Jeter. And I said, "Hey," which this is me being me, Mr. Jeter. I'm so sorry for doing that. The next day he goes, "Hey, you can call me Derek. It's okay." I was like, "Oh, okay, I appreciate it." He's like, "You got good stuff." The motherfucker went 3 for 3 against me. I was like, "Really? I got that good of stuff?"
Thanks for the smoke, pal.
But my thing is, like, for you guys, what stood out to you too? Like I talk about that moment of facing Jeter. That was my first wake up. And then I faced Griffey, which is the real wake up call. Like you made it to the show. What was the wake up call for you guys? Like, especially I like hearing it more from you because you're a hitter. Sorry.
I didn't.
As
I
pitchers,
didn't,
we get
I
to see
didn't,
it.
I didn't really have to wait long. I mean, I think the first one was just my major league debut. I faced John Lester, prime John Lester, Boston in Toronto. But really, I mean, I think that was really cool. I mean, I think I couldn't even really focus on the fact that I was facing John Lester because it was my debut. But I got 43 days at the end of the year was like my initial call up, right? And
were you a September call up?
I was August 14th call up. I got to kind of run the rest of the year. Colby Rasmus got hurt. I got called up, basically a September call up, maybe 2 weeks early. But it was Mariano's last year, and I got a chance to. I'll never forget this. We were up in the game. We were up like 2 runs. What was it? What happened? No, the Yankees were up like 2 runs in the 8th inning. David Robertson comes in, and he's like the best setup guy in the game right now, right? We end up scoring like a run or 2. We tie the game. Something happens. They take the lead in the 9th. And then I know I'm leading off the next inning and I'm playing center field or I'm in left field. And I just hear the glove popping in the dugout and the Yankees.
No. You had to have heard Ender Sandman.
He's warming up.
So I'm in left field and I hear like some glove stuff going on in the bullpen. Like, okay, Robertson's out of the game. Who they going to bring in? Right. And I'm in left field and I'm thinking, wait, I'm up second. I got to hit this inning. And I remember kind of peeking down and Mario's warming up and I'm running in off the thing and I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna get a chance to face him. And sure enough, Enter Sandman comes on and I got a chance to face him. And whether I got a hit or didn't get a hit, that was kind of like, oh my God, I played on the same field as Mariano. And I mean, that was like a crazy moment for me.
What about you?
Sick. So I had 2 of them. They're different. One was spring training 2012. It's the year I get called up, right? So I'm not even in big league camp. And I am there as a backup. I'm there for meal money, right?
Yeah, nice little jick.
Dude, heck yeah, man. Like get a tan, $85, you know. I mean, life's good, right? And dude, I end up coming in the game in the 2nd inning to face Scott Rowland for the Reds.
That was my debut. That's my face.
And I'm like, I have no idea where I am, all this stuff. And I don't know who's hitting, right? Like the only thing they're tracking, so like in a big league game when you're warming up and in the bullpen coach is telling you like, hey, this guy's up second or this guy's up third. In spring training, all they're telling me is like, hey, Derek Lowe's got 12 pitches left. Yeah. Or like, hey, this guy's got 10 pitches left. They're not telling me the lineup because that's not what I'm there for. I'm there to cover the pitcher, right? And so D-Lowe's got like 10 pitches left. If he doesn't get a double play here, you probably got the next guy. Well, okay, well, they don't tell me who the next guy is. So I would go running in, and they're like, all right, now batting, Scott Rowland. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, that's freaking Scott Rowland. He comes to the Popeye forums, everything. And I throw him a heater right down the middle. And he swings and fouls it off. Like Beat him fouled it off, though. And I was like, all right, wait a minute here. Like, I got a shot. Like, I might be able to play this game. And so that was like my first like kind of moment. Second one was major league debut. Same situation, warming up.
This is the Derek Lowe thing you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Tomey's on deck.
Yep. I remember
And they're
this.
like, hey, Tomey's on deck. And I'm like, dude, my first big league hitter might be freaking Jim Tomey. And he ends up getting a guy out. So Derek Lowe's last batter was Jim Tomey. My first hitter was Matt Wieters. But I remember warming up, and now I knew who the hitter was. And they were like, it's Jim Tomey. It's going to be Jim Tomey. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, what am I doing here? Like, I do not belong here. The whole deal. It was wild.
So take us, you talked about, finding God, finding yourself, this level of maturity, this level of humility in junior college. You talked about Texas Rangers kind of almost writing you off because you don't have good grades. They end up selecting you in the 25th round that same year. Mm-hmm. And you say, it's time for me to start my professional career.
I was,
or was it a tough decision?
It was a tough decision. I had Arizona State in my back pocket. I had a full ride to go there. And it was just one of those things like, which way do I want to go? It's a great baseball school, but it's also start your pro career. Which way do you want to go? So I talked with my parents, and that's one thing I always tell everybody too. Like, if you get drafted, talk with your parents, figure it out. Go with what you think is the best decision for you. And the more we kept talking about it, it was like, if you're ready to start the journey, let's do it. And I was like, you know what? I think I got it. I think I'm ready to go. And sure enough, I did. I signed the dotted line and took off. I was only in the humble brag. Sorry. I was in the minor leagues for a year and a half, and everything just took off. I went from throwing 90 to 98 in less than 6 months.
Yeah. So, all right,
how's that happen?
Let me talk about that.
Is there a coach?
Because a lot of times that happens, that will happen. So that, not to that level, but like I went from a starter in college to a bullpen guy. So obviously, like, I saw a jump. Mm-hmm. You were starter the whole way.
Yeah.
And were you coming off an injury or anything like that?
Nothing. I didn't have Tommy John until literally the year I retired. So it was
was there a coach in the minor leagues?
No, I think the biggest thing, so when I threw my slider back in the day, I didn't have a curveball. I did, but it was like, don't ever throw that shit again.
0-0 or 3-1.
Yeah, it was, like you're never going to throw that. And I still, even this day, like, curveball is something like, here's a get me over. Like, I'm not trying to get you out with it. But I give credit to the training staff and everything. I love squatting. That's probably my favorite thing to do. So I work my legs like no other. I was literally doing I can give it to a T. I remember at Picture Perfect, first year in the minor leagues, I was doing 225 and walking lunge 225. And I'm talking with the bar, carry it out and go. Yeah. And I would long toss. So as soon as I signed with the Rangers, the first guy I meet is Nolan Ryan. And I took everything I could from that guy. Like, everybody knows who he is. Yeah. I'm sorry. If you don't, then you're born under a fucking rock. Like, I don't know what you're doing. And he talked about long toss. And he said every day, like, I start, the next day, long toss. I don't care how many pitches I threw, next day I long toss. So I did it, and I started doing it every single time. And I would long toss 2 to maybe sometimes 3 times in between starts. And
you only got 4 days between starts.
Yeah, sometimes, and sometimes you get a little bit more just because of
days off,
whatever, days off. Minor league's a little bit different. And so I was long tossing all the time, and then all of a sudden I just noticed velo just started climbing, and I started throwing 93, 94, and then I got called up to high A, and I was 96, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I got to double A, and it was 98, just sitting 96, and it just, like, I went from being, whatever prospect to number 2. Neftali was in front of me. Couldn't pass him, which is fine.
Yeah, nobody's passing.
He was throwing 100 playing catch, like it's nothing. And it just, everything took off from there. And it's like, to this day, a lot of people are so worried about weighted balls, all that stuff. And it's like, dude, long toss has been something that's been here since day one.
Yeah.
It's been the most natural, it's scientifically there. The more that you long toss and you actually use your legs, you will create more velocity. And I finally, I give credit to Danny Clark, one of my pitching coaches. I threw a bullpen. I'll never forget. He goes, what are you doing today? And I said, I'm just throwing. I got fucking chewed out like no other. He's like, you're not throwing, you're going to fucking pitch. That's his exact words. There was probably a few more, but that was it. And then I realized I'm pitching, pitch with intent. Every time you throw a bullpen, visualize whoever you're facing. And I teach that to my kids to this day. And I did it all the time. If I'm facing Toronto I'm using Toronto when he played there, it was like, I'm facing Pilar. I'm facing Batista, Encarnacion. I'm trying to think of who else was there. Like, you're facing those guys. Yeah, Donaldson. You're facing those guys. So when I go to face them in real life, I've already visualized what I need to do to try to get them out, because I'm doing a scouting report on them just like they're doing one on me. So I have to visualize all that stuff, and I use that in the bullpen. So when you go to throw a bullpen, fine tune your mechanics, feel it out. Okay, now it's hitters. Now we go game speed. Get as close as you can to actual game speed. And I noticed every time that I did that, my velo just kept climbing. And also long toss helped too, and working my legs. I'm not somebody that, works my arms or anything like that. It's just more legs because velocity is created from the ground force up.
Yeah.
So the more that you can drive off the mound and get down the mound, you're going to create the velocity. And I think that was something that helped out so much. And a lot of people are, again, like I said, they're so caught up in weighted balls. Now, granted, towards the end of my career, I got to keep up with the young guys. So yeah, I started doing weighted balls, and I think that's where the injury risk came in, and that's where I finally blew out.
I want to go back to something you said, because you talked about your little humble brag, but the three of us sitting here were all later round. We were all later round draft picks, junior college guy, Division II guy. But I only spent, 2 years in the minor leagues, less than 2 years in the minor leagues. You went even quicker than that. I'm just trying to, kind of even just send like a message out there. Like, everyone's journey is a little bit different. It's really what you do with the opportunity. Like, yes, we can sit here and tell you it's great getting drafted in the first round. You get life-changing money. Potentially you're going to get more opportunities to fail. But there's three guys sitting here that probably weren't given the same amount of opportunities. What they were given was a opportunity.
Correct.
And what we did with that opportunity allowed us to go way quicker than probably I even imagined for myself, and probably a lot quicker than you imagined for yourself.
Dude, I like pitching coach in short season A ball, Mahoning Valley, Greg Hibbard, said, "Draft's over, bro. You guys are all the same.
Yep,
draft's over." And I was like,
and then what else did he tell you? Because you talked about this on your episode. He told you that you're merely here to get these guys.
Oh no, that was a different guy. That was Mickey Callaway. Then I get to high A, too. And Mickey Callaway was like, "Hey man, like Manny Machado's got to have somebody to hit off of. Drew Pomeranz's got to have somebody to pitch to." And I was like, dang, is that really is that what we're here for? No.
But it's, the thing is, like, I look at it too, is with all of our stories, we're all late rounds, whatever. The thing I look at more than anything, and I use it as the best example, is, so there's us three. There's probably 500 guys in an organization?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So let's just say 500.
Yeah.
But there's only, at the time when we played, there was only 25 spots on the roster, right? What are you going to do to get that spot?
Yeah.
Now, the other way to look at it, you got the spot. There's 25 spots. We've got one. There's 500 guys trying to take your spot. What are you going to do to keep them from taking it? So I always put it into that perspective is, cool, I got a contract. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
You don't care. You don't care. Nobody cares what we got. At the end of the day, it's what you do.
Yeah.
You have to outwork the guy that's trying to take your spot, but also outwork the guy that has your spot.
Yeah.
And just because you got money doesn't mean you're guaranteed anything. Like, cool, you got, as you said too, you get a little bit of a leash, you can go with it. But at the end of the day, if you suck, you suck. Somebody's going to pass you up.
And also too, like, I think a mindset that was detrimental to me at the end of my career was, it's your spot to lose. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a layer of truth in that. But like, I remember coming up, like, I earned a spot, right? It wasn't like a guy lost it, right? Like, he just didn't do enough to keep it.
Right.
And at the end of my career, there were guys chomping at my heels that I never saw coming, and I just didn't do enough to keep it. Like, instead of being like, hey, what am I going to do to keep it? I looked at it as like, oh, well, it's my job to lose. They signed me to the contract. It's my job to lose. It's like, not necessarily.
But that's the thing with like college too. It's like, you think about it as, if you struggle or I struggle, whatever it is, we can't get picked. Like, nobody can overpass us or take us over because there's not much to choose from.
Yeah.
But in our position, there's a lot of guys that are just waiting. They're biting at the bit. So you have to do whatever. Like, I'm no Hall of Famer by any means. And that's awesome. I got to play for as long as I did, but that's because I put the work in.
Yeah.
And that's what I wish people would understand is it's how you work. Like, would you say you're a Hall of Famer?
Absolutely not.
But you put the work in, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with you, right? You're not a Hall of Famer, right?
No.
Well, I think
But
in
you
some
put that
way,
work
I
in.
think it's in some way the time that we were able to spend in the big leagues, the amount of service time that we were able to collectively get, it's almost harder when you're not a Hall of Famer. It just speaks to like if you're like kind of like a middle of the road, maybe slightly above, like you fit your team's kind of mold, to keep a job year in and year out just kind of speaks to the work ethic that you have, the discipline you have, you know, having to sign minor league deals, going in to fight for jobs. Like it's incredibly difficult to do that. And I think all three of us are pretty good examples of. Someone once told me like early on in my career, like it's almost impossible to get the big leagues, but it's even harder to keep your job in the big leagues, right?
Well, that's
so
what I
like
was
for
gonna say.
us to be able to climb that mountain to get there, what people don't understand is you have to climb this almost impossible mountain to get to the big leagues. But the day you get there, you start back at the bottom, right? It's like I have to climb this mountain to stay in the big leagues. And to be able to do that, you pitched almost 13 years. I got a little over 10 years. He got almost 9 years. Like it's incredible.
That's what I'm saying. It's people don't realize is how hard it is to not only get there, but to stay there. Like, I don't know. I can only speak on myself. Like, so I got my contract, whatever, and I played for the Rangers for 8 years. But after that, it was literally, I got one contract that was with the Giants. After that, it was literally, here's your big league invite.
Yeah.
That's it. And you have to earn it every single time. And to be able to do it for that many years, that like, it's not an easy road. You have to go into spring training. I'm competing for a job. It's the same thing. I know you had to do it. You had to do it as well. Like, just because we got to play for as long as we did, it wasn't a piece of cake. Like walk in, here you go. Hey, Cody, nice job. Here's your ticket. You're already in the big. No, you had to earn it.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't realize is nothing is ever handed to us ever. If you want something in life in general, you have to work for it. And that's why I try to preach is if you want anything, no matter what it is, you have to put the work in. It's not going to be handed to you. There's somebody else that's working just as hard that can take that ticket from you if you don't put the work in.
I think I finally got comfortable after year 5 I was going into year 5. So I had 4 complete years with Toronto. I was going into year 5 and the work didn't stop. At that point I'm like, okay, I'm going to ARB, second year ARB. I want to get the free agency. I want to sign this long-term deal. So the work never stopped. But I finally got to a point where I felt comfortable, like going to spring training. Like this is legitimately my job. I could finally like go into spring training, tinker, work on things. You always hear about spring training numbers don't matter. I finally got to a point where I was that guy, right? It was my job. But then I got traded 4 days in the season. I'm like, okay, I went from being like the most comfortable I'd ever been in the big leagues to getting traded 4 days in the season. And then I fell back to the bottom of the mountain. And from there, it was like, year after year after year after year, it was like I was constantly fighting for a job, and it was crazy.
I do want to add to that because of what you said. You said something that really stands out is you were comfortable and everything because you had the job. You knew that this is your job to lose, whatever. The thing about a lot of spring training, like even when I had the contract, I went in and it was like, okay, I can work on things. Spring training is usually when you get to work on stuff to get ready for the season. But when you don't have that job for, when we were all competing for jobs to get on a team, we can't work on that. We can't work on like for you, I'm trying to go the other way or I'm trying to pull it, whatever. It was like, all right, it's go time. Like I have to come in.
Your opening day is February 22nd.
Correct. That was the big
It's not
change.
April 2nd, April 3rd. Your opening day is first game of Cactus League or Grapefruit League.
Yeah, I was that bitter guy who was like, typically in spring training, they'd be like, hey, get spring training out, man, line up. Like, hell no. I need hits, man. I'm trying to make the team. They don't care that I lined out 50 times in spring training.
Correct.
I need that scoreboard to say 475 because I'm trying to make this team, right? Who cares about that?
100%. Absolutely. Let's talk about, so you skyrocket through the minor leagues. Your development is clear, right? You work yourself into a top tier prospect for a team that is like on the verge of being really good. You guys swing the big to share a trade at some point. John Daniels is a new GM in Texas, young guy. So there's some things going on. Is Wash there in 2009? He is. So
that was that's when he got in trouble for
2009.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That was the first incident.
Okay. All right. I knew that was early in his career there. I wasn't sure if that was 9 or 10. So you make your big league debut 2009. when, where, and like walk us through that whole experience.
This is actually really cool. So I get the phone call. I'm starting in Round Rock. I was in AAA and I'd only made one start. So like for me, it was crazy. I was in the minor leagues basically a year. It ended up being a year and a half, whatever, because you did short season for half a year and then, do the whole thing.
So when in 2008, you go short season, 2008, you go
2008,
low A, high A, double A?
So 2007, I get drafted, sign, whatever, do Spokane, which is short season, do that for the 3 months, done, do fall league, done, come back to the next year, starting Clinton, Iowa, low A. I'm there for 3 months, get called up to Bakersfield. That was high A. I was there for a month, got called up to Frisco. That's when I started throwing 98. So in high A, I was 96, get to Frisco, 98. I'm in Frisco for 2 months, going to the playoffs. We end up losing, whatever. Next year, go to spring training. I got big league camp, do everything. I'm with the big league team the whole entire time until the last day, and then they send me down, which kind of expected.
Did you know you were going down, or was it like, hey, I
actually had no idea. I was actually doing fairly well. I wouldn't say I was like great, but I was enough.
Yeah.
It was like, maybe I have a chance, and I'll go to the bullpen. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it was just me and Neftali. We stayed the entire time.
That's awesome.
And we both get sent down. I go to AAA. I make one start. Craziest stat line. 5 innings, 5 runs, 5 hits, 5 walks. And I think I had like 2 punch outs, whatever. I wish it was 5 Ks.
55 pitches.
And and whatever. And I'm getting ready for my next start. And I'm like, man, I was fucking dog shit. Like, I got to be better. And I get a phone call at like 9 a.m. And they're playing against the Royals that day at 1 in Arlington. And I get a phone call. Don't recognize the number. I have no idea who it is.
What's the area code?
It was Texas.
Okay. 317.
Yeah, something like that. And I answer it. And as you all know, we all like to pull pranks on each other and joke around. And I answer the phone. He's like, hey, Derek, it's John Daniels. We're bringing you up to the big leagues. I need you to pack your stuff and come on down here. How long is it going to take you? No joke. And he would tell you the exact same thing. I was like, hey, man, stop fucking around. I got to start today. Like, just leave me alone. I'm starting today. I don't need to. I don't need this shit today. I'm starting. I got to take care of it. Hang up the phone on him.
And knowing JD, like, there's not like, he doesn't get like over, like, it's very like,
he's very chill.
Yeah,
he's a very chill dude.
Guy.
He's awesome. He was chill and everything. And I hang up, and no joke, he calls right back. And I'm pissed because it's like I'm trying to sleep. Like, I haven't gotten my alarm's not ready to go off yet. Like, I'm going to get up, go eat my breakfast, go back, take a nap, and then go to the field. And he calls back and I answer it. And he's like, if you hang up the phone this time, I'm going to call somebody else up. And I was like, oh, okay, you got my attention. So what am I doing? He was like, you're coming to the big leagues. I was like, are you fucking serious? And he goes, yes, I'm serious. Come to the big leagues. How soon can you be there? Me being a smart ass and a goofball, I was like, I'll be there in 30 minutes. Oklahoma City's 3.5 hours. I was like, I'll be there quick. And he's like, Derek, just don't speed. But as soon as you get there, just stay out of the clubhouse. Like, just wait and we'll bring you in so the media doesn't see you. It's that whole thing, like, keep it hidden, whatever. I was like, okay, cool. Hang up the phone. And I'm just sitting there like, I'm going to the fucking big leagues. Like, what do I do? Like, I'm shaking. I'm excited. Like, I still even like now.
And you have to drive yourself.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, all right, what do I do? All right, cool. I walk into my roommate's room. He's dead asleep. I was like, hey, get the fuck up. He's like, what? What's wrong? I was like, I'm going to the big leagues. Get my shit for me. I'm going to go, but just have my shit packed up. I'll come back and get it, whatever. I don't care. I got to go. He's like, no, you don't. I was like, yeah, I fucking got to go. So we figured out whatever. I leave. I'm bolting it. I get in my car. I'm hauling ass. I'm not kidding. It's probably, sorry, police. I was going so fucking fast. I'm driving, hauling ass there, everything. I call my parents, tell my parents what's going on, whatever. I was like, hey, John's going to call you. First name basis.
Yeah.
I was like, John's going to call you. I'm going to the big leagues, dude. I'm going there. My dad, I can hear my dad. Oh my God, fuck yeah, let's go. He's so excited. My mom's like, oh my God, this is great. You're going to the big leagues. And I was like, yeah, I know. Wendy, I'm going.
You call your mom Wendy?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I always, Wendy and Richie, that's their names. So I drive whatever we get there. Crazy thing is, don't pitch the whole time we're there. I got 2 games. 1 game. Sorry. 1 game there, day game. Wash puts me in the bullpen. And to me, I think that's probably the best way to break somebody in is put them in the bullpen so they can get their feet wet. Because I'm not going to lie, which I'll tell you in a second about my debut, but like, I think the adrenaline's going. Like, this is the best way. Like, break them in that way rather than let them start because everything's flowing then. So you want to slow it down. And I get there, whatever, I'm sitting in the bullpen. And as I'm sitting there, we're playing the Royals. I'll never forget it. I'm just watching. And we're just going to town against the Royals. We're going back and forth. Actually, it ends up being a slugfest. And I'm just sitting there like, every time the phone rings, is it for me? No, it's not for me. It's not for me. You're good. Go ahead. Is it me? No. And you keep spazzing out. And then finally, like, whatever, the game ends. And I was like, fuck, I didn't get to throw. I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll throw the next game. We go to Toronto.
Okay.
Mr. Superman. You're not there, though.
No.
Go there. First game. We're going. And it's just, I mean, it's back and forth. And this is one of the coolest things. And he was one of the greatest dudes. Rest in peace to him. Roy Halladay's pitching against us. And that dude, like, goes complete game every fucking game. Like, he is the dude. And I'm watching him. He's just, he's carving us up. We're going back and forth. We go to extras. We're down to me and like 3 dudes at the most. And one of them's not even here yet, which is Darren O'Day. He's on a flight because he just traded for him. He's on a flight here. He lands, goes into the game. Like, lands, gets his jersey, has the wrong jersey on. He has to wear somebody else's jersey.
They put him in before you.
Yes. Put him in. He goes into the game. Or no, sorry. No, he did not go before me. It was somebody else. Goes into the game, throws like a few pitches, faced a couple guys, tears his, like, not his unit, but like right below it. Yeah,
groin.
Like that. It tears his groin. Has to come out. Who comes in? This guy.
No way.
I got to make my debut.
You will have to warm up on the field?
No, I warmed up in the pen. I started going anyways, and then whatever, he ends up finishing the inning, but he tears his groin. They call down to the bullpen, and they're like, hey, Derek has the next inning, no matter what. So I go into the game, and I'll never forget, and I'm very superstitious. I always watched until I retired for the love of the game, from a certain part to a certain part. That's what I did before every start. And I had done it.
What part of that movie? We'll show it. We'll show it.
Yeah, you can watch it. It's from the very beginning when Kevin Costner goes in. And Kevin, if you're watching, feel free to reach out to me. I appreciate it. I'm looking right at you. It's from the very beginning where he's getting dressed, and then he goes out and he throws. And I stop it right at the very beginning. As soon as he gets on the mound, he says, clear the mechanism. Awesome. And that was my thing. So I'd always do it. And if you've ever noticed, like, when I get on the mound, you don't really know it because I always pray before. And then as soon as I get on the mound, I say it to myself, and then I look at whoever's up there. And I just remember as soon as I got on the mound, I said, hey, we're here. Clear the fucking mechanism. And I said it to myself, but then I also realized, because Maddox had told me, take a look at the stands, look around. Now, at the time, this is not a shot to Toronto.
No, go for
I
it.
love Toronto. I realized I looked around, and there wasn't, at the time, they weren't what they were when we had our battles with each other. They weren't then. They weren't that. And I looked around, and it was like, I'm fucking here. Like, I don't care if there was 6 people or whatever. It was a big league stadium. And I looked around, and I said, man, I'm here. And I'm looking at the stadium. And then I said it again, clear the fucking mechanism. Let's go. And it's me and Saltalamacchia. He's catching me. And who's the first guy? Scott Rowland.
No way.
And that's why it's funny you said that. And so I was like, all right, it's fucking go time. Bases loaded. Scott Rowland's up. And I fucking throw it. He pops it straight up. 96. Pops it up. And I'm like, fuck yeah, we got it. Get out of the inning, whatever. Or no, sorry. He pops up. And then the next guy, I forget who it was, somebody else, grounds into a double play. Get out of the inning. We're good.
Bases loaded, no out situation.
I'm pretty sure it was no outs, or it was the next inning. But I know I got the first guy. Scott Rowland was the guy. He popped up, and then the next guy was the ground ball to Michael Young. I remember that. And then I remember after that, it was Aaron Lynn was my first punch out, and that's who I faced. Got him with a slider.
Yeah.
Strike out, drop him on a knee. That was the coolest thing, is that not only did I strike him out, which, again, I love Aaron Lynn. He's a great dude. But to take him on a knee, it was like, fuck, my shit's filthy. That's all you start thinking, like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm here. I got him. And after that, I get out of the inning. We're done. Darren O'Day comes into the game. Now I remember it picture perfect. Darren O'Day comes in, wrong jersey. He's wearing Casey Gabbard's jersey and whatever. We end up losing. And I have the picture and everything. It's like Toronto spoils Holland's debut or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was one of the coolest moments because here I am. I've been working my whole life to be this guy, to be in the big leagues. I had told all my teachers, everything growing up through high school. Like, that's the one thing I can tell you that's really cool, and I'll never forget on top of it because I want to give it out. Senora Brown, my Spanish teacher, had my paper with my signature instead of my Spanish name, which was Dominique, which is crazy. You have to pick a Spanish name. Yeah. And yeah. And so like I would always sign every paper no matter what. And I remember teachers would get pissed. Like, why do you keep doing that? I was like, I'm practicing my signature. That was my thing in high school. And I remember once I came back home, she brought it up to me. She's like, look, I have one of your papers. And I was like, that's awesome. And I just remember like once that inning was over and I sat in the dugout and I'm looking, like you're looking straight out to the field. Toronto is, I don't care what anybody says, it's actually a beautiful stadium.
It really is.
I do. I love it a lot.
Was the roof open or closed?
It was closed. It was
April.
It was,
April,
it was cold as fuck there.
Yeah, April, yeah.
And I just remember just looking out and it's like, you're here, dude. You did it. Like you made it. And then after that, it's like, okay, you're here, but who cares? You still got to keep working.
Yeah.
But then the next day is what hit me the most is I went to go work out and do all my stuff. And who's in the weight room? Fucking Roy Halladay. And that is where I got more of my inspiration of working out. Like, yeah, I got to hear Nolan, but when you see a guy like Roy, who's old school and doing all the leg workouts and everything, it was like, I want to look like that. I want to do that. And that's where it's like, I kept telling my trainer, what he does, I want to do it. And I was trying to copy him. And I'm sure if Roy was around or those trainers were there that day, they would be like, yeah, this kid looked like an absolute idiot doing everything. Cause I was trying to copy everything he did. But it was such a surreal moment is once the phone rang, my heart was racing. And then it was just like, you got to control your emotions more than anything. And breathing is one thing, but also the emotions are something else. Because once you're on the mound, your heart's racing, your legs are weak, like not to give the corny Eminem, knees weak, arms are heavy, all that. That's what it really felt like. I mean, you could probably attest to it too. As soon as you got on the mound, it was just like, fuck, slow it down.
I mean, I will say this, like the guys that I felt like were able to take their game to the next level, because there are so many players that just can't quite get a footing in the big leagues, right? Like they're guys that are super talented. And here's the thing is there's 750 guys in the big leagues, but I would say 90% of guys that are in these in the minor leagues, like of the 525 that are there, right? You got 25 in the big leagues and 500 in the minor leagues. 90% of them are all at the same talent level. Like there's a handful that are way better and there's a handful that are just kind of there, right? But most of the guys, they kind of fit into that middle 90%. And the ones that have a lot of success at the big league level were the guys that were able to just, A, their confidence was never shook. And then B, they had just this innate ability to slow the game down. Like they could just slow the game down. And I think too, that's why you always see like, guys first year in the big leagues, he does okay. He's kind of surviving. And by like year 2 or year 3, that guy's either on his way out or he's becoming a bona fide big leaguer because they've learned how to slow the game down, right? They've learned how to, these situations, they don't speed up on them. I mean, I'm sure there's been plenty of times for you, there was for me, where like you go out there and you give up like a 4 spot and 7 pitches or whatever. And you're like, you get back to the dugout and you're like, what just happened?
I mean, I know we'll probably dive into it because there's a time when we played against each other and it became something crazy. But I think the big thing is like a lot of people don't realize that it's more mental than it is talent.
100%.
And for me, it's like, that's why like once I got out there, I realized like, I don't give a fuck who's up there. And to this day, it's always been, I have a boxer's mentality. When I was a starter, you have 9 innings, 9 rounds. You can knock me down, but I got to fucking go with the rest. If you get me in the first, I'll get you in the second. That's how I always looked at it. And again, yeah, I know I'm not a Hall of Famer, but I'm going to fight you. I'm going to go as hard as I can every single time. And a lot of people is like, once you get down, and I learned it a few times, is sometimes the mental side would get you is like, oh shit, here we go again. Like I walk somebody and, oh damn, now it's a 2-out hit. Now it's a 2-out walk. Yeah. And it's like, slow it down. Just chill, relax.
Yeah.
And the other thing that sucks too, that we had, but they don't have now, is if I threw, like if I'm facing Pilar and I got 2-0 on him, I can step off for a second, gather my thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about a pitch clock and get back up and let's go.
Do you think a pitch clock would have hurt you or help you?
It wouldn't have mattered because I was actually pretty quick. I mean,
I think it would have
we
hurt
always
you.
looked at it as I was a guy that like I averaged right around, I think it was 12 seconds per pitch.
Yeah, you're playing time.
So I mean, I literally, like, the way I looked at it, the more I get to think, the more it hurts me. So it was like, throw a pitch and grab it. Let's go.
You talked about your debut, 2009, 2010. You kind of just have, I mean, I'd call it mediocre success, but you were kind of given a leash that ultimately led to your breakout season in 2011. Kind of take us through maybe what them allowing you to kind of work through some stuff, and maybe some of the guys that you were around in the clubhouse that kind of taught you a lot of the stuff that you're talking about. Like, it's okay for you to, give up a couple runs in the first, but it's how you bounce back, or you can have a couple bad starts. You have another start coming. Were there some guys, was it Maddox? Was it some of the older veteran guys you were around that kind of navigated you to ultimately lead you to that breakout season in 2011?
No, I love this. And you might like this a lot too. Michael Young was probably one of the best influencers in Kinsler. Obviously, I had great mentors with Eddie Guardado and Kevin Millwood. But one of the things that stood out was I always wanted a hitter's perspective. And hearing Michael Young say a few things to me is, obviously I had a live fastball. I did. I know that, and I'll take it to the grave. Like, you face me. I mean, you could tell me I don't, but that's fine. I get it. But my thing is, if you can locate your four seam inside and you can locate your four seam outside, it's hard to adjust to both, because you can't sit on inside and look outside or whatever. You have to be able to do that. And I also got to hear it from Pools, but that was after we both were retired. We did a celebrity pro-am. But the more that I could locate in and out, it made it that much better for myself. And for me, if I could locate, which my biggest weakness was away. I pitched in. You know that for a
Away
fact.
to
I
a righty?
always I always threw in on a righty, no matter what. I didn't care. I'm going in, see what you can do with it, whatever. And then once I learned the two seamer to ride back on righties, it became a little bit of a game changer. But at the same time, I realized that from Michael's perspective is because of my two seamer, when I could locate a four seam away, as soon as I get strike one with it, don't ever throw it again. Throw nothing but two seamers. Let it fucking run. Because now you as a hitter know, man, he's locating away. But as soon as it starts running, they can't tell because they know I've got a four seamer. They're gonna look for the straight ball that's there versus the one that's running away even more. So I think that was something that was huge, is being able to hear him say it. And also as a hitter too, and I tell all my kids the same thing, if a guy can't locate an off-speed pitch, all you do is check it off the list.
Yeah.
As soon as I show that I can throw a slider or a curveball for a strike or a changeup, whatever, mainly off-speed curveball slider or something with depth, whatever. As soon as I show that I can throw it for a strike, it makes it that much harder too. So now I have three pitches that they have to look at. But if you can't locate any of those other pitches, they no longer have to worry about them. So as soon as they see spin, it's a ball. They're not going to worry about that. So you have to be able to, as a starter, establish three pitches or more, and you'll be fine. You'll have success. So I think having Michael tell me all that stuff was unbelievable. And every time I'd get done with an outing, I'd kind of pick his brain and just, hey, what'd you see or what'd you think or whatever. But it would be after the fact. It wasn't like, I got out of the game, whatever, in the eighth inning. And it's like, hey, Mike, what do you think? No, we got to finish, let them get done. And then I'll wait till whether we win. If we win, I can talk to you sooner. But if we lose, let's just chill out. Because we have a lot of guys that are very competitive. And when you lose, nobody wants to really talk. So you wait until that time's right. But you learn a lot more as a pitcher from the hitters. Pitchers are great. Pitchers are awesome teammates, everything. But at the same time, if I'm with him and as soon as the game's done the next day or whatever, man, hey, what stands out? What do you think was the big key? And he would be like, you know what? It'd be nice if you could land that curveball a little bit more. I think with the depth, that helps out. That's going to be something. And then I take that to the bullpen.
Yeah.
I take that and improve my game that way. I think that's something that I think more pitchers need to do, is spend time with the hitters more than, I get it. Pitchers are great spending time together, but at the same time, you're going to learn a lot more from this guy.
Yeah. And that's the guy that matters. Like, his perspective.
He's going to tell
matters.
you more. It's the same thing. Like I tell guys with analytics and stuff, who gives a shit what you spin? At the end of the day, this guy's going to tell me more than what that fucking computer is going to tell me, because he's the one that sees it. So he could tell me, hey man, you really tip on the curveball, or, your slider is just so flat. Like I can see it right out of your hands. Like those things help you so that when you go out to the bullpen, all right, hey, Pilar was telling me that my curveball comes out of my hands. He sees it literally out the top, but everything else is over here. So I need to make sure I put this down here too. Those are things that I wish I wish I would have spent more time doing that and understanding that. But at the same time, it's just like you learn so much more from hitters. And I wish I had spent more time with the hitters than I did just spending time with watching video. And now video is great, but I just wish I had spent more time with the hitters because you get such a better perspective from the guys that actually did it. And I think something that did help me a lot is when I threw bullpens, I'd have hitters stand in.
Yeah.
I'm not a big, give me a dummy guy or whatever. I want somebody there.
Hey, before we get into 2011, your kind of breakout season, you play on a team that goes to the World Series and you get a small little taste of, pitching in the postseason. How much do you think maybe the lack of success you had in the postseason as a team, but also you individually really kind of fueled you in that offseason to become the guy you became in 2011?
I don't know exactly which part you're going to because there's two games that, okay, so I'll do it. There's
we just
two
do our research, man. We do our research.
No, I know. And that's why I love it that's why, again, I watch you guys. I know what's going on. So I appreciate it. The pitching against the Rays, I didn't have the best game in 2010. That was tough, but it was the motivation. It's like, you want to be better, and you guys know just as well as anybody else, like when you don't succeed, you're now motivated to be better than what you were. And then, I'm not somebody I will never make an excuse for anything. I know in Detroit, I ended up I had to go to the hospital. So that's on record. So I have that. I got food poisoning in Detroit, and then I came back and pitched against Detroit, and I was weak as shit, but I still battled. I did everything right.
That was a good offensive team.
That was the thing is I knew if I just go out there and I give us at least 5, when I got the food poisoning, I was in the hospital and I was watching them play, and then I flew back with the team. I knew that, okay, I'm pitching this day, which was the next game when we came back. I said, if I just give them something, I know they're going to put up runs. We have one of the best offenses in the let's say in the conference in MLB. So just go out there and do your job. Now we go to the World Series and I get called up, I get to go in out of the bullpen, and this is where I thought you were going. I threw 13 pitches, and I think I threw 1 or 2 pitches for a strike. And the thing is, I was there. I'm all around the plate. It's not like I'm missing far. I'm just missing.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things. And I remember as soon as I came in the dugout, once I got yanked and I walked the run in and everything, and I got yanked, whatever, and I wanted to just blow up. And I did. I ended up kicking my foot through the Gatorade thing that we had, like the tub. And I remember I was getting ready to throw my glove, and Benji Molina was right behind me and grabbed me, like as I was right here getting ready to throw it. He said, stop. And he sat me down and talked to me. He goes, you know how good you are. Do not worry about that shit. It's one time. Who cares?
Yeah.
You didn't get to do your job. So what? It happens. You're not going to, it's like we had talked about before. You're going to fail in this game. Mm-hmm. You failed today. So what?
And dude, and this is not long after, like you went 3 2/3. So in 2010, 3 2/3 against New York.
Yep.
Who reigning World Series champion, and they were a juggernaut.
That was an unbelievable lineup.
They were an absolute juggernaut. I don't think that lineup, because they didn't win, right? They won in 2009, but I don't think that team gets enough credit for how good they actually were, because you
100%.
guys beat them. But that team with A-Rod, I mean, dude, they were loaded. And that ballpark too was a bandbox.
I was going to say a Cracker Jack.
I mean, dude, absolute bandbox. And you went as a very, very young player. Well, you were 24 years old at the time.
I was 24.
And very little playoff experience. Everything you're learning right now is on the fly. And I've pitched in New York in the postseason. And that is a different environment, right? Like, and I've gotten a chance. I will say, I've pitched in Fenway, I've pitched in Wrigley, I've pitched in New York, I've pitched in Toronto, Houston, where else? I mean, Cleveland. There is still no, like, those historic venues, man. Like, you're not only battling the crowd, but you're pitching against history, right? Like, we all I've seen this comeback, right? Like, I've seen this place just consume and devour great pitchers, great teams. Like just the environment itself. You know, Joe Nathan, right? You know, and I mean, one of the greatest ever. Love that guy. But man, Yankee Stadium, I watched him like blow. I mean, it literally was like the Yankees didn't beat him. The bleacher creatures of right field did.
Which I love, by the way.
Which is, it is really cool experience.
Cool.
It's super cool when they're doing that roll call. But so you get to do that, and then you go into the World Series on a high.
Yeah, that's
and
where
you're
it was
like, you're probably like, I'm here. But I do want to ask you this: that San Francisco team, we talked to Murph about this, and
love Murph, by the way.
I'm the best. And he talked about how like 2010 we just got beat. Right. Mm-hmm. They beat us.
Yeah. You got to think about like for them, we all know this too, like from playoff experience, like if you're a hot team going into the playoffs, you're a tough team to beat.
And also too, in a long series like that, in a 7-game set, a long set, if you have a rotation like they do, that is clicking.
Oh, they were lights out. And you got to think Bumgarner was the key. Like that's Bumgarner's rookie season.
And he was the last guy. Like it was Lincecum, Kane,
Harden.
Zito.
Was it Tim Hudson?
Yeah, Hudson. That's what it was.
Oh, Tim Hudson. Yeah, Tim Hudson. And so you're talking about not only guys that have the hardware at home, right? Like Lincecum at the time was like
he was the guy.
I mean, his first 3 years in the big leagues was Rookie of the Year and 2 Cy Youngs.
Yeah,
and I think 2 World Series. And so he was the guy. But then you had Matt Cain behind him, who everybody forgets, but he was one of the best.
Oh, he was nasty.
One of the best. And so, I mean, I looked at like some of the scores, and y'all's offense that year and in 2011, like that was the thing about the AL West. The AL West was like, if you got a sub-4 ERA in the AL West, like you're dealing because everybody scored runs. I think they shut you guys out 3 times that series.
Yeah, they were filthy. I mean, you look at, I mean, you're going up against Vladdy, Napoli, Nelson, Hamilton, like that right there is enough. Yeah, if he's on,
he was a video game.
He was a freak. He's the freakiest athlete I've ever played baseball with.
It was crazy.
Down. But it was you look at that, it's like I said, the World Series is, you go against those guys, they were red hot. Like it didn't matter. To be honest, I don't care who they played. I think they were going to beat anybody.
Yeah.
They were just that good, and they had such a strong staff. They were scrappy. They didn't have like a bunch of big name guys for the most part. I mean, you look at most of their lineup besides Buster, and I mean, who else are you really going to name that was in there that stood out? I mean, Brandon Belt was another one.
Yeah, I mean, they just had solid. There's no holes there. Was Hunter Pence there?
Yeah, Hunter.
Or was he the next year?
He might have been there, but I mean, it's still it's a deadly lineup.
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't. Aubrey Huff was there, so I don't know if
Marco
he was.
Scutaro,
Brandon Crawford.
They were young. They had nothing to lose. I mean, it was just go time. Yeah. That was it for them.
So what is that? So we had Murph in here and talks about what it was like losing the World Series. Take us into the following spring training. You have a lot of the same people coming back. You just lose the World Series. What are those conversations like in spring training? And then take us about kind of your last appearance of that season was not a good one in the World Series.
No, I came back. I rebounded. Yeah, I rebounded. Yeah, I did good after.
But you guys lose.
We lost. What is that offseason like for you, motivation-wise, to lose a World Series? And then what is it like collectively that spring training? You feel like you have an opportunity to run it back?
Yeah, so when we came into spring training, well, after the series ends, Wash talked to us all, and it was actually a really good message. Is we did something that nobody expected. Nobody picked us. Nobody thought we would be where we were. I mean, we won the West. We did everything we were supposed to do in our minds, but nobody had picked us to do it. And he was like, look, well, he said all that. And then we come to spring training. He's like, hey, we've got all the familiar faces back. We have a chance to make a statement and put ourselves really on the map. It's what you guys do from game 1 of 162 to game 162. So what you guys do here and there is what dictates what we do into the playoffs. And we use that as motivation. Is we were there. We got a taste of it. And for a guy, for instance, Michael Young, who had been there for, I want to say it was his 10th year, never been in the playoffs, never. And we went there. And not only did we go to the playoffs, we went to the World Series. So now it's like we got that motivation as well, as we have a guy that's been the leader, that's controlled that clubhouse. We got to do this for him. We got to get back out there. We know what we're capable of. And we took that momentum in. And I honestly think that we were the best Rangers team that they've ever had. Even I'll take it to this day. Even the team that won the World Series, I think we were better than them.
Dude, that 2011 team, like, I didn't get a chance to play against the 23 Rangers, right? Like, that's obviously they got the ring. But dude, that 2011 team,
wait, actually, you know what? I just realized this too. Fun fact, and I'm pretty sure maybe it's 2011. I can't remember. So we'll have to look this up. One of the 2 years, 10 or 11, was the only team that kept the same rotation from day one all the way till the end.
Really?
Yep.
That's difficult.
I think maybe we had one different starter.
Well, it had to have been 11 because in 10 you were kind of up and down, right?
No, I never went down.
Well, but at 10 you missed time. You didn't make.
I got hurt.
Yeah,
you
didn't make all your starts. So by that 2011 team was Vlad, Nelly Cruz.
No, we didn't have Vlad in 11.
Not in 11. So, but you had Nelly Cruz, Hamilton, Napoli, Moreland, Kinsler.
Yeah, we had. Who do we have?
Mitch came up, I think, at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Kinsler, Elvis,
Young,
Michael Young,
Murphy, Gentry.
Dude, y'all.
I mean, we had a loaded,
and then bullpen. You had Neftali at the back end, who he was
Ogando,
dude, the axe murderer, man. He was filthy.
Threw it from his ear hole,
dude. He was so good. Did y'all have Koji that year? Or was that the next
we
year?
had him in 10.
And okay, yeah,
you have Beltre.
Mike Adams.
Yeah, we got Beltre in 10 or in 11.
Beltre.
Mike Adams, 2011.
Adams,
Nobody
yep.
dude, that guy. Look at his back of his baseball card. He was
filthy. A lot of people don't like. There's a lot of pieces that were really good. That, I mean,
aren't household
specifically
names.
That year, but like there was like they did a good job of trading, but also developing.
Yeah,
we had Martin Perez, I think, was with us at that time.
Yep,
helped out a little bit. I mean, we had such a strong team, and that's why I said like we were really good.
And it's a unique thing for teams because I will say this: like after you go that deep and you play in October like that, where you're the last game, like every game in October is just so special, and then you go back and you start a new season with essentially the same team. A few different pieces have changed. But you go back to the same team and you have that like noon game getaway day on a Wednesday out of,
Anaheim.
Oakland.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it is easy not to bring it that day. It is really easy not to bring it that day. But you guys, man, from the jump
we didn't care.
Everybody.
We didn't care no matter what the situation
Y'all were
was.
on a mission.
It was showtime. It was go get it. We're on a mission. We want to get that ring. The fan base was unbelievable for us. They always had our back. I get it. I know that Josh made the quote like after we lost him and stuff and saying it's not a baseball town, but during that time it was baseball town. It was at that time. This is how crazy it was. It was Mavericks were hot.
Yeah.
The Stars were hot. We were hot. Cowboys were whatever,
In
doing
11, did the Mavericks, you would know.
Mavericks won it.
11,
They
right?
won
That
it,
was
yeah.
Dirk. That was
Dirty Dirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when they
Against
beat
Miami, right?
That's when they beat
LeBron,
Miami.
right? So
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't get much bigger in the sports world than coming back beating LeBron. But take us into your 2011. It's your breakout season. Does some of the kind of earning the opportunity to be in the big leagues and them kind of giving you a little bit of a leash to have some up and down, did that really kind of allow you to kind of settle in? What changed in that offseason? Is it potentially losing the World Series and coming back? You're another year established in the major leagues. Is there something that changed pitch wise, mechanic wise, or you just stopped caring as much and you became a dog?
I definitely didn't stop caring. It was just more of working on mechanics, working on off-speed pitches, being able to establish a lot better than what I had done before. Being a rookie, you got to learn the different ways and following, and then having the mentorship that I had, those guys helped me get to where I needed to be. But the biggest thing was every time you went out there, the goal was you need to go the distance. Doesn't matter what it takes, go the distance. Find a way, learn to pitch. And one of the greatest things that I ever heard came from Millwood, Nolan, and I want to say Darren Oliver as well, is you're going to make 30 starts. And in those 30 starts, 10 of them, you're going to have your best shit. You're going to have everything you have. 10 of them, you're going to have mediocre shit. But then the 10 that you don't have your shit, you have to learn how to pitch. And that was something that stuck with me, is like, I would throw bullpens and it'd be like, I don't feel good. I don't feel like I don't want to throw. But then it was like, I remember that speech. I remember that being told to me. So I would throw my bullpen and it's like, find a way no matter what. And in that year, I'll never forget it. And it still might be a record that's held right now. I went back-to-back shutouts. It was Seattle, Oakland, or Oakland, Seattle, whichever way. Went to Anaheim, and I had 2 back-to-back shutouts, complete game shutouts, so all in hand.
You led the American League in shutouts, I think.
Yeah, year. It was me and then Cliff Lee in the National League.
So, all right. So I was going to ask you, and we didn't touch on this in 2010, but you got a chance to play with him in 10, right?
Awesome teammate, but also the worst catch partner I've ever thrown.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you?
Great. But
what did you? What? Because that was when he was
unreal.
There was nobody better.
No,
you know,
dude, he was filthy.
I mean, so
he carried us in Tampa.
So, what did you pick up from him? Like, it's
just his
impossible not to play
mentality.
with a guy like that.
The way that he did his things, the way he would work, and his mentality was just, it was so nonchalant. It was so chill. And it was like, I realized that, man, maybe I'm putting too much pressure on myself to be so perfect. I'm seeing how he throws his bullpen, because I would go and watch him throw. And it was just so like, it was nonchalant. It's like me and you just talking like, oh, you want a fastball down and away? Okay, cool. How's your day? Okay, cool. You want the fastball in? Cool. Watch this. And it's like, what the fuck? And I'm sitting here, veins popping out of my neck, just fucking throwing it as hard as I can, trying to hit my spots. And it was like, man, he's so chill. Why can't I? And then I started realizing when I throw my pins, like, I'm obviously locked in. I'm looking at the target. I'm going to the target, but I'm more relaxed. It was more of a, I realized it was all
like
the
a
breathing.
trust the mechanics. Like,
Yeah, just trust what you have.
I don't have to try so hard. Everything leading up into this moment, I've already prepped. The time for me to pitch is like, let's trust the work. I've already put it in. Let's enjoy it. Doesn't mean I care less. It's just I don't have to be max effort. I have to trust the work and allow it. And I think that's probably what you saw with him.
One of the things I realized from him, and he even said it, is the hardest thing to do in this game is trust your stuff. And I was like, it didn't hit me until after I started throwing it and realizing, you know, I could throw you a slider and you swing and miss. I don't need to make it nastier. It was already good enough as it is. So why try to make it Randy Johnson slider? Stick to my slider. It worked. I got you to swing over it. So it was the same thing as when I'm throwing a bullpen, it'd be like, that's a good changeup. I don't need to make it nastier. I don't need to do more. And that's where I realized with him is after he said it and I watched his bullpens, it was like, that's why he's so chill and so confident, because he knows this is all I got to do. It's nice and easy. Just trust it. Trust that I can do this, whatever.
He literally looked like he was playing a different game at that point. I remember it looked like he was pitching from like 45 feet and everybody else was pitching from 60.
Yeah, it's like DeGrom. DeGrom is the prime example. It's a video game. Like I love DeGrom. He's such a great dude, like talking to him and everything. And I realized something about him is he's one of those people that I hate, but I love at the same time, because he's a guy that doesn't care for baseball. He doesn't care. He's just there because like he's good. He knows it. And that's what like would blow me away is it's like I watch Cliff and it's like, as you said too, it's like he doesn't care. Like, fuck it, who cares? Watch this. It's right there. You want me to put it in the mitt? Okay, cool. Watch. And he does it. It's the same thing.
I'll never forget watching him pitch against New York in Yankee Stadium. And he had like a pop-up hit to him, right? And I don't know if you guys have ever done like pop-up priority or whatever. And like,
oh yeah,
pitchers, like
we're out. We're not supposed to be there.
Pitchers all say like, I want to catch it. But then when it's hit to them, dude, it is sheer panic. Like see the panic in their face. They're like, oh my God, I haven't caught a fly ball since high school. Dude, he has this ball hit to him in Yankee Stadium in the ALCS, the most intimidating environment. And he is literally like Andrew Jones, like on the mound, like doesn't care in the world. And it was just like, man, he doesn't care. He's playing a different game than everybody else. Like he is literally playing a different game than everybody else.
there's nobody else out there with him. It's just
it
him.
was such a vivid
That's how it
memory
is.
for me.
He's the same way. Like even playing catch with him, this is why I was saying like I hated it. Is like he's a guy that throws cutter sinker. Okay, so when he's throwing with you, he doesn't tell you which one. It's a fastball, but you just don't know which one. So you have to literally wait. And I'll never forget. We're in Tampa. It's in the ALDS, yeah. And obviously the fans are like right there. He's like, all right, here. And he's throwing me cutter sinker, whatever. And I got it now. I'd figured it out because I've been throwing with him. I'm the rookie. I got to follow. If a veteran tells you to do something, you do it. So I'm throwing with him, whatever. And then finally he's like, all right, I'm going to throw you some knuckleballs. Why the fuck are we throwing knuckleballs? So I have to fucking body it. And dude, I took them straight off the knee. 2 of them in a row.
Good ones?
Just, oh yeah. They're dancing. And of course, like you got to wait for it and kind of go with it. Not me. I fucking lunge
Stab
for
at
it.
it.
Boom, right off the knee. I'm fucking losing it. I'm trying to protect the fans behind me. But that's Cliff though. And the thing is, he took such great care of me. As much as I joke around with him with playing catch and stuff, that dude took care of me off the field. He was unbelievable to me. Like awesome. I love that guy to the moon. I would do anything for that guy. He was so great. And he taught me a lot too that's why I was saying the whole trust your stuff. It's the hardest thing to do in this game. And I learned a lot from that. And that's what really turned things around.
I think when we see guys that seem like they don't care, and there are a couple out there, and there's been some recently that have come out that don't really care. And you know, it catches up to them. But I think a lot of times when these guys appear like they don't care, it's just they have the ultimate amount of confidence in their ability, right? They've checked all the boxes leading up to the moment where they feel like, why do I have to like try any harder? I've already prepared. Now I just get to go play. And I think that's like DeGrom. I was his teammate in New York and I was his teammate in Texas. And it's like, yeah, sometimes there is like this element of like, it comes off like he doesn't care because he does enjoy doing other things, but he's so meticulous in his throwing and his preparation for his starts that it appears that he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But he just believes in his ability so greatly.
That's what I wish. I mean, as much as I'm saying the things I say about him, I promise he is one of the greatest human beings I've ever met. He's awesome. He does care. It's just, it comes off and it looks like you said, like he doesn't, but at the same time, it's because he literally has video game shit and he knows it. And it's just, it's so natural to him. It's so easy to him. And it's frustrating because it's like you watch and it's like, fuck, why can't I do that? I'm giving everything I have to do it. And he just goes out there and you want this, you want the fucking 95 cutter. You want like, he's filthy. He's unbelievable. I've heard great things about him. I will never say anything bad about him, but it's just one of those things. It's like, man, I wish I had what you have. Cause like you look at it and it's like, you don't care. But then at the same time, you're like, man, I wish I had that because I care, even though he does care, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So take us, you have this unbelievable season in 2011. You get to the postseason, kind of take us through the postseason run of your starts, which ultimately leads to your historic game and game 4 of the World Series.
Yeah. I just remember the Cardinals, they beat the shit out of us the day before. One of my favorite teammates, Matt Harrison, we were literally brothers and it didn't go very well for him. Obviously I know, Yachty and, Pujols had like 18 RBIs altogether, whatever it was. It was a crazy game. And Wash pulled me aside the night before and said, hey man, just be you. And I was like, okay, cool. I got you. Don't worry. And then I went home, did my thing. And as always, like I told you, I did my superstition. I watched the movie and everything was great. Woke up, did my normal routine, play NHL before just to kind of take my mind off it. That's the biggest key is I'd always do something to take my mind off of the game so I'm not overthinking. And then I get to the field, media's in there, and then I realized like, man, this is it. It's World Series. It's go time. We had this opportunity once. We got to capitalize. We got to take care of business. And
before you go on, I want to tell you that Pujols in that game went 5 for 6 with 6 RBIs. And Yachty went 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs in that game, and the score was 16-7.
They had a combined. Maybe there was somebody else with them too. They had a combined like there was a shit ton of runs, obviously.
Yeah. David Freese had 2 more RBIs, but that was pretty much the lion's share between those 3 players. They had 12 RBIs.
I do remember
game.
Albert just absolutely going.
Dude, he was nuts. And I remember going into it, that team was.
Oh, he had 3 homers. He had 3 homers in that game.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Had 3 home runs that game.
That was they were like that.
So what do you like? Okay, you talked about Wash being you and stuff, and you obviously show up to the clubhouse that next day, but you're talking about left-handed pitcher, Matt Harrison. You say your best friend on the team. You're following him. You just watch Albert Pujols go 3 homers, 6 RBIs in the game before, and you're kind of the guy who
I have
the
to
season
follow.
a little bit kind of rides on your shoulders a little bit. You know, you go down 3-1 in a World Series, it's hard to overcome that.
100%.
Has it been done? Sure. The statistics don't show that it's possible, right? But you're sitting in the dugout, you're watching this absolute monster of a human being, Albert Pujols, who's in the prime of his career, tag your buddy for, I don't know if he gave up all 3 of those homers, but he's hot.
Yeah, it was tough. And the great thing, which I'm very thankful for, is we would always chart the night before. Like you would sit down below and watch a game and you would chart. And it's also your way of, if Matt's pitching, I'm watching how he's pitching to them.
Did you find that easier than being in the dugout because you can watch the kind of
I'm actually head on.
This is pre iPad where you can watch every pitch in real time.
So,
yeah,
go ahead. You can.
But
say
also
it.
pre iPad where starters now, like I just recently got done playing, so like I played through the iPads and stuff. So a starter could be in the dugout and he has the side view watching, right? But you can't see where every pitch is located. But you then have the luxury of like, okay, he comes off. The starter tomorrow could go through the pitches. He could watch locations. He could talk to his buddy, be like, hey man, like, they're attacking this or you're missing this or whatever, you guys would tell each other during the start. So are you in the stands or you're inside watching on the TV?
You can't sit in the stands.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not going that far.
Yeah.
So you're just watching the TV broadcast where you can see the screen and the box, and you could see all the location of the pitches.
Correct. Yeah.
You found that to be
It was
helpful.
definitely better. Yeah, it was very beneficial. You're watching, and I have my scouting report because I'm already watching them. I'm taking notes. I'm watching how everything is. This is my strengths. This is what I would do. This is what Matt did. This is what the scouting report is going to tell me. This is what Maddox is going to tell me. So you're combining all that. But I'm sitting there and I'm watching it. And then obviously once Matt's out, I come back up and I'm sitting and I'm watching the game. But the whole time, all I'm thinking about is everything that's happening. I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on these guys. How am I going to get them out? It's where for me, like I had said before, like my mentality was a boxer's mentality. Like and I could pull it. Well, I don't have my iPad. I would pull up my iPad and I had Mike Tyson knockouts. That was my favorite boxer. So I'd watch his knockouts and I'd watch my strikeouts and I would visualize all that stuff together. And the whole time I'm just visualizing all that stuff and I'm thinking about it and watching and games going on. And while it's going on, whether we're losing or we're winning, I'm still focused on them. All I want to do is I want to beat your fucking ass. And it's the same thing that you guys would do. You want to beat them. You want to beat me, whatever. So it's the same thing. I'm just doing that the whole time. And then finally, now it's like the game ends and it's still, to me, it just felt like I just watched everything happen in 30 seconds. And it was like, fuck, it's your time. All right, let's go. Tomorrow's your day. That's it. So you don't worry about any of that stuff that just happened. Cool. You won 28-0. We don't care. Like in my mind, I don't care. I got to take care of business.
Yeah. I think that's the greatest thing about baseball is you don't really have this carryover effect. I mean, most sports, but really like sometimes
we don't have it like the other sports. We don't have to wait a week or a couple days.
And then I
think
the beauty, it's always been the beauty of baseball, but it's also the curse sometimes is there's always a tomorrow, right? You get a chance to come back the next day. And in some ways in baseball, especially, I mean, you could tell me I didn't play in a World Series, you did, but even a regular season game, it feels like it's a lot easier to swallow the loss when you just get your ass kicked. If he would have gone out and thrown 8 innings, gave up 2 runs, and your offense only scratched 1, you're sitting there overanalyzing the game. Like, man, what could we have done different? Every player, I know position players feel that way, man. If I would have just got that runner over, if I would have just, hit the cutoff man, it would have changed the outcome of the game. When you get your ass kicked, you're like, there's nothing you don't micromanage it. You just say, hey, we got beat. It's easy to move on the next day.
We got our shit kicked in. It's fine. And you just look at it and it's like, okay, I got to do something. And that's why I love Wash. And what he did was once that game was over, there's no added pressure. He told you that there's no added pressure. Tomorrow's a new day. There's nothing added to it. It's not like, as much as it is a must win, he made sure you felt it was not. Don't make it a must win. Go out there and do your thing. Control your own destiny. Control yourself. That's it. You can control what you have. After that, it's not you. So focus on you. So I literally went home and I did my normal stuff and everything. And when I showed up, you could feel it instantly. Once you got into that clubhouse, you didn't know that we got beat by whatever, 20, whatever it was. You didn't feel that. You felt these boys are ready to fucking play. I'm ready to go to war with every single guy that's here. And once I went out to the field, I still remember it. Like I could literally go like almost inning by inning of how it felt as you ran out there, and it was just the stadium was filled. Everybody, like as soon as I went out, you got the roar. Everybody was excited. There's nothing like it. Like it's just so exciting because everybody's into it and the game hasn't even started. This is just me running out and doing my superstition, go touch the 3 numbers, pray, do my stretching, throw, warm up, national anthem, pray, go out there. That was it. Like it was there. Like you felt it. It was no different than any other game. And once I got out there, and as soon as the first inning was done, because of how quick I got through, like the only thing that scared me was the first, I think it was second pitch. Maybe it was the first. Furcal hit the ball right at Beltre and he caught it. It was a line drive. He smoked the shit out of it, but he caught it. After that, I was in my groove and I felt it. As soon as I got done with the first inning, I said, man, I got my shit today.
Do you feel like leading up to it? I mean, we've all seen the movie, and hopefully most of our audience has seen the movie, right? Do you feel like it can be was it as dramatic for you as it was in the movie? Do you feel like when you told yourself to clear the mechanism, like you talked about hearing the roar of the crowd and going through your routine and your stretch and your superstition, when you said those words to yourself on the mound, do you feel like everything kind of shrunk and it funneled and like it almost becomes white noise? You can't hear anything except like you could just see the target. Is that the way it felt to you?
Yeah, I swear on my life, I didn't hear a single thing until, and I can tell you exactly when it was, but that was later. I didn't hear anything until I think it was the 7th inning. Napoli hits the home run, whatever. And I start hearing him chant my name. That was it. That's when I knew I kind of let the noise in. Like usually, for the most part, when you're locked in, you do tunnel everything out. And it's just me and Napoli. And that was it. And the thing that was great about
what inning
Napoli,
did he hit that home run in?
That was I want to say it was the 6th or it had to have been the 7th. Yeah, it was the 7th inning because that ended up being 4-0 at that point. But once we got the first run, I should say, I was like, all right, here we go. And the only thing that bothered me is Berkman got that first hit. And I want to say it was a double. Yeah, he hit 2 doubles, if I'm not mistaken. I know he got a double the first time, and it was just like, okay, settle down. Like, keep your jets calm, and let's fucking keep going. And then we got the out, whatever. But it was one of those things, like I was locked in, like no matter what, you couldn't have taken me out of my element. I was dialed. And again, like we get cruising, I'm getting strikeouts and I'm watching them complain about the calls on the inside corner, which I know, and you know it because you're the hitter. I'm a guy that's going to live on that inside corner. And that was something that I made sure of is I know what my scouting report is. I'm going to still stick to it, but I'm also going to expand with my other side, and I'm going to use that sinker a lot more. And
yeah, I don't know if this is going to make you upset, and I don't think anything's going to take away from the greatness of that game. But if Lance Berkman wasn't in that lineup, you would have thrown a no-hitter. He's the only guy. And you're right. He had 2 doubles off you. He was the only guy who had hits in that game.
Well, you know what's crazy is although he got those 2 doubles, I did strike him out. So as much as it was him getting the 2 outs, I did strike him out to end one of the innings, and because he started bitching about a call before.
Yeah, fact check. You did punch him out.
I struck him out on a slider right down the dick. I can promise you that. I know that.
Let's talk. So that game, right? And that game right there puts you guys 2-2.
Yeah.
Series tied 2-2. You guys go out in game 5 and you win.
Mm-hmm.
3-2, going back to St. Louis.
Game 6. Here we go.
Game 6.
That's where it's wild.
Yep. And so, and Texas was kind of known for this, whether it's good or bad, but
it's okay.
They were very, I guess, liberal with their usage of starters coming out of the bullpen.
Correct.
Or trying to turn bullpen guys into starters and vice versa. So, game 6, Colby Lewis starts that game.
Mm-hmm.
You throw the 7th.
I came in.
You threw the 7th and the 8th inning?
Yeah. I got a bunt, which is one of the coolest things too. I ran the bases. I scored a run.
But I think we all know, we'll talk about it, but you leave the game to hand the ball off to Neftali. Right?
So, well,
did you finish the 8?
I do want to throw this out there because I'd only given up 3 hits in that whole postseason or in that World Series. And the one hit that I did give up besides the 2 doubles to Berkman was the Alan Craig home run. And it was a curveball. And it was the one pitch that I had literally said, which we've talked about before, if I'm going to get beat, I don't want to get beat on my curveball because I know it's my weakest pitch. And it was supposed to be a backdoor, and instead it was right down the dick. Yeah. And he got it. And, tip your cap.
And he was hot.
I mean, like you said, like
it is what it is.
We've said this too. It's like, I mean, dude, those guys have nice cars and nice houses for a reason.
They're
right?
going to do it. You got to give them credit.
But you leave the game. I think you guys put up like a 3 spot in the 7th.
Yeah, we were up.
And so you guys are up 3. He hits the homer. And then you're up 2, handing the ball off to
Neftali,
the guy.
I thought I finished the inning, but I could be wrong.
I know
he might have came in like to get the 1 out. Maybe I had 2 outs, whatever. And he came in.
But I mean, Neftali comes in and you guys are going to the 9th up 2, game 6. You're like, hey, we're about to finish what we started, and I've been there too, where not in a situation like that, but we were up 3 games to 1 against Chicago and we lost and we tied it up. We went to the 10th inning of game 7. And we still thought we were going to win. And you get so close to just not. And you're a vital part of that. I was in the game. I got to throw I was in the game pitching when Rajay hit the homer off of Aroldis Chapman to tie it up. And, we're about to take the lead. And it just doesn't happen the way that in your mind it's playing, right? And that's what it's there's a reason why you and St. Louis were the last 2 teams standing. Is because
it's the battle.
It is never, you talk about boxers mentality. Like those guys just don't stay on the mat. They just do not stay on the mat. And so they end up coming back. Walk me through you coming off the mound, going to the dugout.
I'll tell you real quick because you don't remember this, but you gave up the home run and then you gave up a 2-out single to Yachty. Okay. And then you replace Mike Adams comes in. He gives up a couple hits. They load the bases, and he gets out of the inning. No other runs.
That's right. Okay,
Rafael Furcal grounds out. Then you go into the 9th, leading 7-5. Natali Felice is on the mound.
There you go.
Yeah. So I mean, what's that feeling like? We don't have to revisit like.
No, you're good. You're good.
Like,
yeah.
But like, what's that feeling like? You're thinking, because I think we've all been there before, where and say last game of the regular season, you're not going to the postseason or whatever, and you're like, man, I've had a pretty good year. I don't have to toe the rubber anymore. But it's like. Dude, the season's about to be over. Because I remember when Tito came and got the ball for me in game 7, and I'm like, man, and the game's still tied, and you're like,
you thought it was it, and no, I get it. And so once we got to Neftali, we had that much confidence in him that we're like, all right, game over. We got this shit. Like we're about to be World Series champions. Man, that was what we thought. Because you got to think like everybody knows at that time. Neftali was the dude. He was legit. Like, I'm not trying to, suck him off or anything like that. He was literally that guy.
Gas.
And so we thought for sure, like, this is it. We got our guy. We're in the 9th inning. We got a 2-run lead. Not a 1. We got a 2-run lead. We're comfortable. Yeah. We're good. And you kind of just watch it unfold. And it was one of those things like, fuck. And I'll never forget, once we got into the situation, David Freese is up at the plate. And I remember hearing Wash say, hey, should we put Indy Chavez in right? And he said, no, or sorry.
Which is crazy you said that because we had Murph in here and we asked him about
Nelly,
a very similar situation. And for people that don't remember, like Nelly later in his career became this like unbelievable DH, but he was a really good athlete. He was stealing 30 bases a year. He wasn't the best defender, but he was a good defender. Like he wasn't the monster we probably at recent memory.
You can say it. He wasn't you. He couldn't. And I don't mean it like that.
No,
I'm just
but
saying
he wasn't the Baltimore, he's only a DH.
He's not
he doesn't
Markakis.
Move. Yeah, but he was still like stealing bases. He was athletic. Was he the best defender? Probably not. But he was good enough to be out there. Was he the best option? Maybe not. But Murph didn't have. When we asked him, he didn't say anything about.
I think Murph was in left.
Murph was out there, and I heard it, so I know this. And it was Dave Anderson and Gary Pettis, and they were talking, and they were saying like what to do. Do we want to put Indy in the game? And Wash was like, well, I don't want to lose his bat. We need his bat. So we need him out there. So not only did they do that, but the other thing is they kept him in the game. And what people don't understand is I can't remember exactly how it came about, but they moved him in. And that's where it became the situation of, we screwed up there is just leave him back. Because I think they wanted to do no doubles or whatever the situation was.
So you normally do in a situation like that.
Correct. Yeah. And so they moved him in. And then obviously the fly ball goes and he goes back for it to go get it. It's just out of his reach. So if he had stayed where he was, it's a routine fly ball game, we win. He goes after it. When he's going after it, he tears his hamstring on that play. People don't know that. And I don't know if this is HIPAA or whatever, but sorry, I'm not.
You did sign the waiver, right?
Yeah, I did. I'm not a doctor. But he goes after it, whatever, tears his hamstring and misses the fly ball. Yeah. And people give him so much shit. And that's what I hate about it is Nelson was that guy for us. I don't care. Forget about it. We lost the World Series. It is what it is. You got to give credit to them. Hats off. Good job, Cardinals. But don't fucking destroy that guy.
Yeah.
Don't do something that's the guy that helped us get to where we were.
100%.
If it wasn't for him or Hamilton or basically any of those other 9 guys or however many guys you want to name, number, whatever, those guys help us get to where we were. Don't degrade them and make them feel like shit. And that's why, I'll take it to my grave on this. That's why he didn't retire as a Ranger. He retired as a Mariner because of the fan base not giving him love. They were going so against him because of the World Series. It's not, dude, he did what he was supposed to do. He gave you everything he had into that World Series, everything leading up to it, whatever you want. So what? He missed the fucking ball. Mm-hmm. That motherfucker gave everything for this team.
And we were talking about this earlier. Kevin and I were talking. You saw the game last night. Joe Adell robs 3 homers or whatever. And they're talking about catch probabilities and stuff like that. Dude, that ball right there. There's only a handful of right fielders in the game that catch that ball, and all of them have gold patches on their glove. Right,
100%.
None of them are. It's not like he misplayed that ball. It was just, could he have gotten a little better jump? Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. But it wasn't like something he fell on his face. And I love what you said there too, because, one of my best friends and a guy that I respect a ton is Brian Shaw, right? Reliever, pitched forever.
That dude's awesome.
Great career. He took the L in the 10th inning, game 7, right? Dude, the things that he did for that city in Cleveland, and the things that he did, dude, just the ability to answer the bell 80 times a year as a setup guy, not as a left-handed specialist, but as that guy answered the bell every single time. And so his peers, if you ask other players, every single one of them loves him. But, he got this rap in Cleveland for taking the loss. When he's he gave up a backside single to Ben Zobrist, who hit 560 in the series.
Who's MVP if it was.
Yeah, it's okay, that's what he does. You can't. Are we really going to bash that guy because we don't get there without him?
That's what I'm saying. People don't understand the work that goes into it to get to that point, what they do, everything else. And what sucks is everybody will remember that moment rather than what you did before. It's always coming down to that last moment. People don't realize that he got a cortisone shot and played out in game 7 for us, laid it on the line for us. Did we win? No, obviously not. But at the same time, that dude laid everything out for not only his teammates, but that fan base. Yeah. That's something I would go to war for that dude every single day. All my teammates that I've ever played with in my entire career, I know they laid it on the line every single time. It's just so frustrating as people look at the last moment of everything, of whatever it is, a big moment, whatever it is. Let's just say he's in the World Series and he misses a routine fly ball,
which would never.
That's
happen.
All they're going to. I know it would never.
Well,
happen. But that's what they remember is that one thing.
It happened recently. I happened to be working the game in Toronto, but Aaron Judge dropped that fly ball in, I think it was game 4 or 5 of the World Series against the Dodgers, and I'm in the studio and they're telling me hey, you got to talk about this. I'm like, what do you want me to say? I'm like, they're not in the World Series if it's not Aaron Judge. I'm not going to, I'll break down the play and talk about potentially why he missed it, the lights, and, him looking at the runner and stuff. But for me to sit here and criticize someone who's had a way better career than I could ever dream of, and who also is the reason the Yankees are in the World Series, it's the beauty of being a professional athlete, right?
Correct.
I think we always forget that fan stands for fanatic, right? Like they can be very extreme at times, and it can also come with its perks, and it can come with a ton of love, but sometimes it goes a little bit too far. And I think sometimes we have a recent bias of something that happened in a moment, right? And we forget about the entire body of the work. And I think what you're saying about Nelly is like perfect. You're not in the World Series back-to-back years without Nelson Cruz, right?
100%.
For him
Dude,
to be...
I'll tell you this. I mean, we've watched teams and we've all had experience. Dude, Nelly was probably, he was one of the most feared hitters
100%
in baseball. And if you take a guy like that, like I remember the 2014 Oakland A's, right?
Yeah.
They were crushing people, right? They go at the trade deadline and they trade Yoenis Cespedes for John Lester. And the second half of that season, they go add the big game guy, the big game starter they need. But Cespe and what he meant to that lineup, that team became very pitchable.
Yeah.
Literally,
Oh, yeah.
you remove one guy of a 9-man lineup, American League, too, like not a pitcher that had the DH. You remove one player, and like literally everyone around him became worse. And I feel like Nelson Cruz, like on not just those Rangers teams, but like when he was in Seattle, he did that. When he was in Minnesota, he did that. When he was in Baltimore, he did that. Like everywhere he went, like he elevated everyone around him. And like it was almost like signing 3 or 4 players, not just one.
100%. He's a guy that not only is great for the clubhouse, but he was also great for your lineup.
Yeah.
He did something every single time. He made everybody else that much better. And to even add to it, because I was trying to get you when you said it, people don't realize too is sometimes those big moments, the fans take more out of it than they need to. You know, it's I'll give an example, and we can put it right here. I had to do that. It's I gave up a walk-off grand slam to Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
I was with the Cubs. I got traded. We were in a playoff.
That was
push.
a great pitch, by the way. I remember.
Unbelievable.
That
It's 2 balls off.
pitch. You were the
96.
Cubs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
96, 2 balls off. He turns on it, keeps it fair, whatever. I had death threats, everything. Like I had people telling me, I hope my dad gets cancer and you watch him die, everything. Like I had all kinds of shit. And that's the thing is like, it's not like I did that on purpose. And a lot of people are like, why'd you throw that? Motherfucker, I threw it 2 balls off.
Dude,
Sometimes you got to go,
go
hey,
back. We can pull up that
fucking
clip.
great job.
Unreal,
give
like
him-
Bryce
get-
Harper,
oh.
like one of those, like,
Yeah,
There you go, bud.
please put it right here.
I feel like
I watched it, and this is the thing that my mic turned over. This is the thing that gets me is not only did I make a great pitch, Bryce Harper even gave me credit. Like
Yeah.
he literally said in his interview, Derek pitches me in. This is what he does. This is his strength. He throws 2-seamers in, sliders away. I guessed the right pitch, and I fucking turned on it.
Yeah.
And
You
the
just
thing
got
that's more incredible about it is he kept it fair.
yeah.
Like, you know, as a hitter, if not me, but if a righty's throwing a sinker to you and they throw it inside and you turn on it, more than likely that's going foul.
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
just
going
a
to.
foul
It's not
ball,
going to stay
yeah.
fair. So you tip your cap to him. He did what he had to do. It wasn't a strike. That's the thing that gets me. It's the same thing with Nelson. Is when he had that moment. Now, social media wasn't as big as it is now. Who knows what it would have been like if it was?
Yeah.
But still, it's like people don't understand is that dude laid everything on the line. Same thing with you when you're playing the World Series. Same thing with you when you've played like multiple games. Every game that we've all played in, there's a moment that comes across where it's a big moment and something happens that doesn't go in our favor. And now we're the bad guy and they fucking try to destroy us.
Yeah,
That's
I feel
what
like this
sucks.
is like a perfect segue. And I don't mean to fast forward a couple years of your
You're good,
career,
you're good.
right? But we're talking about making a good pitch and executing a pitch, and potentially your team's not in the position without Sam Dyson, right? And
Oh, yeah.
we're talking about game 5 of the playoffs where kind of our careers kind of I don't wanna say intertwined. I was going to say overlap. We overlapped later, a couple years later. We were teammates, but where we kind of collision course of moments that happen. And it's always cool for our audience because I could sit here and I could tell my side of the story, right? Like I was in that dugout.
Oh, I'm all
We
for
came
it.
back
I love
from-
it. That's what
We
makes
came
it
back
great.
from 0-2, but it's always cool for our listeners to get kind of the other side of it, right? And I think it's a perfect segue because we're talking about players who in history kind of live in a moment, but their entire body of their work doesn't kind of, live up to that one moment in time. That's all people kind of remember. And Sam
I've been
Dyson
waiting
was
for
that.
this.
And Sam Dyson maybe is not the same teammate Nelly Cruz was, but he was a pivotal part of your guys' success that year in getting to the postseason. And also touch on the fact that you played on teams much like myself, I played on teams early in my career postseason, and it took me 7 years to get back to the postseason. So you're on two teams that kind of right out of the gate, you get to the World Series, and then you have kind of a couple year gap.
Trailing,
You have a couple year gap. You finally get back to the postseason, and then kind of this collision course happens. Toronto and Texas, kind of take us into your side of that postseason. What was the feeling going into the postseason? Kind of take us through kind of that build up into that. Obviously, that historic
that was 14,
moment.
Right?
It was 2015.
15. Are you sure?
Yeah, because that was my first. That was my first. That was my first full year in the big leagues. Was 2015.
The only reason why I say it is I remember 13 being a disaster for us. That's when everybody got hurt. That's why I felt like it was 14, but I think you're right. You're right. It was 15. It was 15. 15. We got back into track and everything, and we were back into the postseason, and then we ran into you guys. You guys were like a juggernaut, and
we had the best team in baseball in the second half. We went out and made
100%.
all these trades. We were kind of treading water a little bit, and I think in 2014, credit to our front office. 2014, I was kind of up and down. I was part of the team, but I was kind of up and down. And
wait,
we
were when you made your debut?
13. 13, okay. I made my debut. I finished 14. I was an up and down guy. I was kind of that, hey, need pitching. No, I was like, you need pitching. Hey, you got to go down, come up. Fuck. I was platooning, right? That's the worst. I was on that taxi ride. But in 14, the Toronto Blue Jays were in a good position around the deadline where the team could have gone one of two ways. We could have went out and added guys, or we stayed put, and they stayed put. And they ended up not going to the postseason that year. So in 15, we're in that same situation. We're kind of above 500. We're in a wild card position, and they push all their chips in the table. We trade, our prospects and Daniel Norris and Matt Boyd for Troy Tulowitzki and David Price, and we go out and get your former teammate Mark Lowe. Yep. We go out and get LaTroy Hawkins. We get Ben Revere, and we just run the table in the second half of the season. I think we lose like 7 games. In the second half, right?
You guys were, man, you guys were fucking filthy. Yeah, I just remember we ran into you guys, and I'm pretty sure. Did we take the first 2?
You beat us the first 2 games in Toronto
at your place. Yeah, that's where it all started.
One was an extra inning game, right?
Yeah,
and I think there were some disappointed fans, things thrown on the field.
Was that the first game or the second game?
I think it was. I can't remember what game, but there was just a lot of.
I think that was the second game because that's when I did the
towel.
Yeah, I knew that was coming, but.
No, I honestly forgot about that. I forgot about that.
That was our handshake, bro.
I know. I forgot about it until you just. It became like a story within the clubhouse, right? And then we obviously faced you in Game 4, and.
So let me just go to that. So you said we beat you guys the first 2 games there. We go into the second game. So before we had beat you the second game, we're there. Whatever. Something happened to where the bottles and stuff started flying onto the field. I just remember that. And I remember we were all out on the field. I want to say it was something to do with Keone Kela and Donaldson.
Yeah.
Is where it started.
Right.
And it was all whatever. It was eyewash. Donaldson, I love the dude. He's so competitive. Awesome teammate, awesome dude. I've been around him. I know. I get it. But obviously he's a guy you hate when you play against him, just like Odor, which we'll lead into. But whatever. So we do that and get into it. And I just remember when we ran out of the bullpen, because I was in the bullpen at that time, run out, bottles are flying, whatever. When we came back, I'll never forget this. You guys had to get all your security, and they were outlining our bullpen because your fans had come down the stands and they were down in front of our bullpen. And that was the one time I can actually say I was scared for my fucking life because I was like, I'm about to fucking die in my Rangers uniform. The fans are right here. Like, they're no joke. I'm not kidding. If you've been to Toronto, the bullpen's right there. The fans were there. Yeah. Like where we walk to go to the bathroom or whatever, they're right there. Like there's traffic cones stopping them. Like you're not going to do shit. So whatever, we get done. And I remember now they cleared it all out. We're good. And I'm leading into this. I remember doing my bands, and I'm just kind of getting ready in case if I'm supposed to throw and somebody throws a towel down at me. And this is where this leads into it. And people don't realize this. And again, I'm not disrespecting anything. It was one of those things. They throw down the rally towel, and a fan, so you know how the bullpen is. I can only go to you on this. He knows, but it's not the same. So I look up, and he was like, "You won't wipe your ass with it." Just yells it to me. I was like, "Fuck that. Yeah, I will." And I fucking take it, and I wipe my ass like into it. Like, I'm good. Wipe that shit. Like, I have doo-doo stains like no other. And all of a sudden I look up as I'm getting ready to like,
and there's a camera pointed right at you.
dude, there was 20 cameras just all in a line. I was like, fuck, that's not good. I was like, whatever. I don't think anything of it because whatever, you know, you don't see anything. Finish the game, we win. I get in the clubhouse. Bannister comes up and he's like, hey, what the fuck were you doing in the bullpen? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, did you wipe your ass with the fucking bullpen towel or whatever? And I was like, yeah, they fucking threw it down at me and they were saying shit to me. So I did it. Like, I don't give a fuck. I didn't think anything of it. And bro, these motherfuckers hated me. Like, hated me. And I know he can say it. I mean, it's not gonna hurt my feelings. We were teammates. And they wanted my number. And who's starting against them in game 3? This guy. We go back to Texas. They put a 10 spot on me, I want to say, in the first 2 innings. They fucking mopped the floor with me. I'm not afraid to admit it. Like, I made some good pitches, but these motherfuckers teed off on me. It didn't matter. I was throwing beach balls to them. It didn't matter. Like, here you go. They fucking shellacked it, whatever. They beat the shit out of me. And I just remember the motivation was there because every time that they would hit or whatever, they would like, I'm not saying they were directly talking to me, but they would make comments as they're going. Like, I remember it picture perfect, like throwing it is like slack. And I'm looking and all of a sudden I'm hearing it and I'm like, what the fuck? And give me the ball, throw it again. Bam, fuck you, Derek. I'm like, yeah, cool. Give me another one. Let's try again. Fuck. Yeah, fuck you, Derek. All right, cool. Yeah, here we go. Fuck. There it goes again. It just kept going over and over. And then we get to, they ended up beating us in game 3, and then they beat us in game 4. We got to go back to Toronto. I'm warming up I'm in the bullpen. I'm hearing it from the fans. They are destroying
They're
me.
right on.
Oh man, they are motherfucking me, yelling at me, saying as soon as I kept my shirt on, so they didn't know who it was.
Underneath the overhang?
No, I was out, but they didn't know it's me until as soon as I had to take my jersey off or my sweatshirt off, bro. Hell broke loose. They were destroying me. And I didn't have to throw or anything. I was like, just trying to get loose. It's hot. So I want to take that off. And I knew as soon as I take it off, let's hear what they got to say so that I can fucking tunnel it. Like, I don't care. Let it come out. Bro, they let me have it. And then sure enough, we get going. We're into a tight situation. Was it bases loaded?
When?
Batista's home run?
No, it was at first and second.
First and second, whatever. Batista's up there, and then I got the phone call. Hey, go ahead and get Holland up. I think a lefty was coming up soon or whatever. He's like, get Holland up. We need him going. And I start throwing. And I just remember I threw a couple pitches. I'm watching Dyson. He's in the game. And I'm like, all right, just fucking get out of this, bro. Come on. We got to win this, whatever. I throw a pitch. I'm not kidding. I catch the ball. I turn. I look. Here comes the pitch. Boom. It is the loudest I've ever heard in my entire life. A stadium. Batista's home run. I don't care. I get it. People are so pissed because he did bat flip, whatever. I don't care. It's an iconic home run. Yeah. I don't care. I love Dyson. I love all my teammates. I love everything about him. It's an iconic moment. Dude. I'm sorry.
But he hit it in the Rogers Center.
Bro. And the thing is, they not only that, because it was game 5 of the division series, it's so packed. It's a what do you want to call it? Like Canadian football, whatever. It's a football stadium.
CFL,
CFL. They had everything open, like all the seats. I'm talking top.
It was like 50,000.
What is it? Is it the Argonauts? Is that
they were playing there at the time. They don't play there anymore.
Yeah, they don't play there now, but at the time they were, and it was. I'm talking packed, bro.
The loudest moment, the rowdiest moment I've ever been a part of outside of the playoffs was in Toronto in 2015. After they got Tulo, all that stuff, and it was.
Oh, they had Tulo then. Yeah,
it was Tulo, Price, and they made all the trades. So they were selling out, and it was coming down the stretch. But that moment, like, we got to talk to Cole Hamels, and he talked about like that moment.
It was unbelievable that game.
But dude, like, and Jose too. Dude, he was so good.
He was great.
And he was another one. Like, so I'd be willing to bet Jose had a moment in his life where, like, he wrote something on a cardboard, like, Army says you can't. Because he was another one that I felt like, dude, don't give him a reason. Like, if you give that guy a reason, he is going to turn it up to another level. And he just He's going to throw them on their back, and you're going to.
That was his definite year for sure, because he was raking to begin with. Anything that was inside, you had no chance of getting past him because that motherfucker was 500 yards.
He was
the other
one
way.
of the most uncomfortable bats ever for
You
me.
feel like, and we can sit here now because we're all retired and stuff, and it doesn't take away from the fact that some of those losses hurt, some of those moments hurt, because you've talked about it too. And when you step away from the arena, and I know the pain of losing the World Series is never going to go away, but you can have an appreciation for being part of something great in the history of the game. You talked about, playing in the first World Series game since 1908, and then ultimately being the team that the Cubs, broke the curse against. You being part of not that you directly were in that moment, but being in the stadium during, an iconic home run. Like it's such a different perspective when you sit back and you get to be a part of something that, is going to be played on loop in the greatest moments of the history of the game.
Yeah, you look at those things as, obviously in that moment you're like, it sucks, you're pissed, whatever. But at the same time, it's like you said now, like I look back on it, it's like, bro, I was there and I saw the whole thing, and it was, as much as I hate saying it, because obviously you don't want to lose. Nobody wants to lose. But to see it, and it's like, fuck, we went down trying. It's not like we were there. Here you go, Batista, see how far you can hit this.
Yeah.
Or,
I mean, you were there
David
for that.
Freese,
You were there
go.
for David Freese, the triple and the walk-off home run. Like these are like iconic moments in the game. You were there when Rajai Davis hit that home run off Chapman, right?
Yeah.
And like, you guys didn't win the game, but like, when you get to sit back in your rocking chair, 50 years from now, like those clips are still going to be playing.
Well, I think too, I think kind of to what Derek was saying too, is like, I think as a player, right? Like as a player for a franchise or, living in a place or playing in a place that you become very loyal to, or it's like, I'm sure like, Toronto's got a special place in your heart. Texas got a special place in your heart. Cleveland has certainly got one in mine. And so you want it not so much. If I could go back and change I would do anything I could to change the outcome of Game 7 to be the winner and not the loser. But every game's got a winner and a loser. I wouldn't necessarily change it for me. I would change it for like Sandy Alomar Jr., who has been a part of a bunch of World Series with Cleveland and never won one, right? I would change it for the fans that have been waiting on one. I wouldn't necessarily change it for myself, although I'd like to, but I would be far down the list. But I think too, the game itself, right? Like we're all huge fans of the game now. And now being a former player, like it's one of the first times I've been able to become a fan of the game. And so those moments, looking back on them as a fan, I feel like those moments catapulted the game forward, right? Like, Batista's homer is an iconic moment that is good for the game, right? Rajai's homer is good for the game. The Cubs winning World Series, as much as I hate to say it, it was good for the game. And when Cleveland does win one, it's going to be great for the game. And so being a part of moments that are as a whole, that just are moments that are going to live in the history of the game, that continue to move the game forward, that's something that I think we can all kind of.
And I know you got a chance to, post-career, you got a chance to be part of the Rangers organization.
That's where
I was going to say, I'm trying to think what year I was there, because I was there last year.
You were there.
It was actually the year they won the World Series.
Yeah.
I was with the Angels, and you were the one who told me President Bush was going to come in. I started this rumor, and I got everyone excited, and he did come in. He was there that day. So thanks to you, I got a chance to meet a living president, whether you like the guy or
Mac.
Yeah, C-Mac, yeah.
But I was going to say, like,
shout out, Mac.
You were done playing at the time. You got a chance to be part of the Rangers organization. Kind of take us to that feeling of you're no longer a player. You're a fan of the Rangers. You live in this city. What was that moment like being there when they won that World Series? Because you were part of teams that were so close in 2010, 2011. You were part of two teams in 15 and 16 that got back to the postseason, right? He talked about how sometimes the game is bigger than us. You do a lot of things because of the fans, right? What was that moment like for you to see a fan base that's never won a World Series, to be so close, to kind of live through, 15 plus years of, not winning a World Series after you guys being so close? What was that moment like for you to be, part of that?
So first, because I was trying to do it before you said that, I do want to give you something that, being from Ohio, a lot of people love you. I'm from Columbus. A lot of my friends, and I grew up the same way too. We were all Indian. Well, I was a Braves fan. I always watch them on TBS, but a lot of my fans or my friends, they love not only you, but also the Indians. And it also goes to show, as much as you guys went to the World Series, and I'm not sidetracking from you, I'm coming back to it, but they love what you guys have done. What you guys have done for the organization and everything. You did put them on the map. You brought us back to what we were. You know, I hear it from a lot of my friends. So shout out Kyle Dyer. He's my best friend back home, but they talk about like, it's like major league until you guys got there. Yeah. You think about you, Lindor, Jose, a few of the other guys that were there. The guy that had Kipnis, he was center field, had both of his legs. He had knee injuries. Outfielder.
Coco Chris. You had Naquin.
Nope. He was a lefty. I ended up hitting him. He came back from rehab assignment. He was a super good dude.
Grady Sizemore?
Yes.
Yeah, Grady. Yeah,
I got him the day that he came back from rehab assignment. I threw a 2-seamer and hit him right in his knee.
Dude, he was going to be in Cooperstown.
100%. He was the guy. But I for me, because I want to make sure that you get the appreciation too as an Indian. I'm using that. No, fuck that. As the Indians, people don't realize that too. I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I'm going to throw this out there. People don't realize that the Indians were founded by a guy who was actually an Indian. That's why they're in the name, the Cleveland Indians. I can't think of his name right now, but you can look it up. You'll see it for yourself. The Indians were founded because of that. But going with the coverage, you know, it was, it hit me so fucking hard. I was there covering it, obviously. World Series, they're back. They're doing everything that they need to do, take care of business. And I just remember, was it game 7? No, it was game 6.
Yeah, they didn't go
game
7.
6. Yeah, they didn't go. But they're playing against the Diamondbacks. They're in Arizona. And I remember being at Texas Live, and I'm covering it. I'm doing everything. Comes down to the last inning, whatever, and they're about to win it. I could see it. So I start recording. And all I instantly think is, I was here. That's all. It like hit me like a fucking freight train. And I'm holding my phone, and I'm just thinking the whole time, and I'm about to get emotional, and I'm watching, and all of a sudden I see the fucking pitch, boom, strike 3, confetti flies everywhere, fans are going nuts, and I'm recording it, whatever. It goes viral, cool, I don't care. But the whole time, that's all I'm thinking is, this is supposed to be my team, the 2011 team. This is what it's supposed to be like. So I'm recording it and everything, and I'm getting the reactions. I'm literally with the fans. I wanted to be with the fans, and I made sure. So I'm recording everybody. They're all high-fiving. We're high-fiving together. It was great. And I remember, okay, I'm done to record. I post it, and I sit there and I give my report. Hey, congratulations. The Rangers win the World Series. Walk out. And as I'm walking out, I start crying because I'm like, this was supposed to be my moment. Like, this was us. Like, we were there. We were 2 pitches away. Not once, but twice. We were 2 pitches away. And I'm recording it. I'm losing it. I'm crying in my truck, and I'm getting ready to leave. And I just kept thinking the whole time, I was right fucking there. Yeah. Like, that's the closest thing. And it hurts. And you were right fucking there. Yeah. Like, you were on it. You were about to put Cleveland on top of the map. We were about to put Texas on the map. And it's one of those things, like, yeah, it's awesome. It's a great feeling. You're celebrating with the fans. And to me, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, what I got to do. I played in the World Series twice. We did it. But to celebrate with the fans in 2023, that was cool. Like, as a member of who was there in the World Series, and you're actually celebrating an actual World Series that's done, that was cool. I
recently just lived it, right? And I think when you're players, you obviously understand the impact of the fan base, and you want it for them, but you're so invested in what you're doing with your teammates and stuff. And when you're able to kind of step out of that arena, and, you know, I became a fan. I was someone who got to cover the Blue Jays last year, and I was in the visiting dugout, right outside the visiting dugout, with them being 4 strikes away from winning a World Series.
Dude, there were
inches. Seeing what the fans were like pre-home run to after the home run to when the Dodgers won the World Series, like, it gives you a whole different perspective of
100%.
what it means to so many people, and for an organization like Texas, for an organization like Cleveland that's never won a World Series.
No, the last one was
has been a long time, and before had never won it in their existence. And then Toronto, it's been 1993, so it's been a long gap. And you start to see like, and you take in that moment of realization that the game's bigger than you, and then you start to see like a grandfather with a dad with his kid, and you're talking about generations of Blue Jay fans, or generations of Ranger fans, generations of Cleveland fans. It makes it even more special what we were able to do for a long time in our career. And I think it's a cool thing when you get a chance to come in a place like this, kind of reflect on your career. We learned a lot about your career. A lot of people learned a lot about your career, but it also takes you into the inside of like the history of the organization and, what everything went through. And I don't know if you got anything else. I kind of wanted to ask you I feel kind of emotional right now. I think we all kind of feel emotional about getting so close to not winning it, but I feel like I would regret myself if I didn't ask you on camera how you got your nickname Dutch Oven, because it's one of like kind of the iconic nicknames in the game.
Well, before we get to it too, I do want to point, like, it just shows how much of us, like as athletes, we all play for our teams, we represent them. And, we put the work in every single day, but people don't realize how much it means to us to not only represent the city where we're from, whatever, that, the organization. I always talk about it too, is, Texas is home. Obviously I played for multiple teams, and I would give anything for any of those teams, playing with them. And I know you play for multiple teams, play for multiple teams. So it's like, people don't realize that how much we put into it to be successful at those teams, those organizations, whatever it is. We're doing everything we can to be successful, to put them on the map. It's not, we no longer worry about what's on the back. We worry about what's on the front. Mm-hmm. And people sometimes they don't realize that. Like, some of the times we'll go out there and we don't succeed. I got traded to the Cubs and I didn't have the career that I wanted to have, or, I play with you in the Giants and I didn't have the career that I wanted, or, maybe you went somewhere else, or you went somewhere else and you didn't do exactly what you wanted, but you still laid it on the line. You showed up every single day, no matter what the case may be. Who cares what you did the day before? You laid it on the line the next day. You fucking put it on there. People don't realize that. But then as a fan, you realize it, because now we're sitting here and, I'll watch games, and I do my own little thing now talking about baseball, and you guys do such an incredible job with the podcast talking about former players that have been here, and they tell their stories. They see what we've done and what we talk about, but people don't realize now that we're fans, we see it from the other side. And it's like, damn, I know how much it means to you. Like you talked about the dad or the grandfather and the dad and then the son, and you see the generations. It's the same thing we all live through. Like I can say it for my own sake is, my dad showed me baseball and we watched baseball. We'd go to games, we'd watch games, whatever. We'd study the game. My two grandfathers, unfortunately, they didn't get to watch me play. And I do want to share this because it's actually cool. It's a faith-based thing. Is the World Series. My two grandfathers never got to watch me pitch, but when I walked off that game 4 or whatever, I'm done. When I went to sleep that night, I'll never forget this. I told my mom as soon as it happened, like the next morning.
Wendy.
Yeah, Wendy. To Wendy. Love you, Wendy. You're the woman of the year. I woke up. I had my dream, and in my dream, everything, same exact thing. Relived the World Series. I walked off the field, and this is part of why my faith is so strong. But there's another story, but that's from my foundation. But I walked off the field, and when I walked off, my two grandfathers were in the stands, and they were waving. And I'll never forget it, because as I walked off, I always do like a salute, no matter what. Like, hey, thank you guys for everything, like the cheers, everything. Thank you. Those were the two people that I could see clear as day in my peripheral as I'm walking off. So people like you talk about the generational thing. That's where it stands out the most to me, is you do see the grandfather, the dad, the son, whatever. You see that. And then now as fans, because we're retired, we see it. And it's like, it is a meaningful thing. Like there's more to baseball than baseball itself. It's more of, let's just say I'm your kid, like it's me and you sharing that memory of going there, or, you know, maybe me and him are brothers and you're taking us to a game, and it's like you're sharing your love for the game to us so that when we have kids, we share it to them.
100%.
And it's all passed down.
It's
I think
a point of
that's
connection.
It's
a point of connection for all of us. You know, sports, you know, that's what's so special about sports. But man, dude, like your story and your career and like the trajectory that you took to be a part of, and you know, the thing that we were all talking about, like, I mean, there's over 30 years of major league experience sitting in this room, and there's 3 pennants, and it just shows you how hard it is to win the big one. Like,
there's only three. No, I'm not meaning it in a dick way. Like,
I didn't.
I've got one. You've got
you
2,
did.
right?
Yeah, I've got 2. I thought you had
None.
one.
No.
Fuck.
I know, but that just
And
shows
that's how
you
many
how
years?
hard it is.
30,
Over
how many
30
years?
years.
plus,
30
plus.
years.
Yeah, dude. I
And
remember.
there's 3 pennants. That's
And
1
really-
per 10.
Really, you could say like minus 1 year because we shared a year, but we all played on different teams around the same time. So like
Fuck.
it puts in perspective what you're saying is just how difficult it is.
I mean, and we were fortunate enough to, like, I played on a team that was in the postseason. I was in the postseason a lot. You were in the postseason often. You were in the postseason often. Like, there's plenty of guys. Like, I remember Adam Dunn's entire career, he played 1 wild card game.
Mike
the
How
Reds?
crazy is that? With
Mike
Oakland.
Trout.
Oh, wow.
With
Mike-
Oakland.
I would have thought he was with
But
the
think about
Reds
that.
one time.
There's great players like that they never even
He
get to
just
the
brought up a great
postseason.
one.
Mike.
Mike Trout.
Yeah, he's been in
one wild card
He's-
series.
the division series. They got swept by the Royals
Yeah.
in 2014.
Wow.
And so you think about that, and it's like how hard it is to, like, not only like get deep in the postseason, but just like win that last game, right? It's just super difficult. But that's not to knock. I mean, I'm still super proud, even though we lost. Like, dude, I am so proud of being a part of that team, and I'm sure you feel the same way about those 10, 11 teams.
It just shows how hard it is in all of sports. I mean, I'm not trying to knock any other sports by any means because it's all hard, but I would say baseball is probably the only one that doesn't have the same teams in it all the time. I mean, yeah, you have a couple teams like the Dodgers because they're fucking loaded like no other, but for the most part, we don't have consistency when it comes to the playoffs, when it comes to baseball. You look at basketball or football or whatever, they're for the most part, you have the same teams in the same spot every time.
Yeah, a lot of times you do.
Yeah, I think to end this, I think we have 3 guys in here that all have kind of similar journeys. I think a great message for kids at home too, and I think you touched on it, we've touched on it a bunch, is we worked our butt off to get to where we got to, and we never stopped chasing greatness. But I think all 3 of us in our own way fell short of it. But I think the thing we can rest our hat on at the end of the day is we gave everything we had, and we had the respect of our teammates. And I think at the end of the day, I never stopped chasing, trying to be an all-star and have these accolades for myself. But when I got a chance to retire, people didn't talk about a certain play or a certain thing or how many hits or things. They said, I love playing with you. You were a great teammate. I go to war with you every day. And we got to be teammates. And I would say the same thing about you. Were you the same guy you were in Texas, but you laid it on the line every day? Anytime Boach asked you to take the ball, whether it was starting or bullpen, I knew I was going to get your best effort. So I enjoyed being your teammate. You were fun to be around. It's an incredible story. I hope a lot of people take a lot from this.
Well, I was going to add, because you did ask me the question, so I'm going to come back to what you said. So the whole, before I finish, because I'll do the other part too, which I love, but the Dutch oven thing came from, everybody called me Dutch. My last name's Holland. So everybody called me Dutch. That was my original true nickname. So Dutch was the big thing. And then one day I came out to the field, and no joke, this is so funny. We were playing against Toronto, and it was hot. You guys would always show up for the most part around July or August, and it's about 1,000 degrees out there at the Globe, at the old park. And somebody had a sign that said Dutch oven bringing the heat. And that's when I was throwing, as Kenny Powers would say, I was throwing fast as fuck. And so I was like, damn, I fucking love this sign. And this was early in my career. This was 2010 for sure. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing something. So I put it on all my gloves. It said Dutch oven. And I used that. I ran with it. I thought it was great. No, it's not the fart under the covers, which that's what I think you guys were waiting for, is as goofy as I am and ridiculous, which I didn't really get to give my true personality on that, on this whole episode. But that was the one thing that stood out, is people use that. And it's weird though, because nobody Nobody to this day calls me Dutch oven. They call me Dutch. Nobody calls me that. So it's funny that I have this, but yet I don't go by that.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is, with even what you were saying, and I hope a lot of people take away from everything we talk about, our stories. I've watched the podcast before. I've seen what you guys do, and you do a great job of interviewing guys and telling their stories. And not one single person has had an easy trap. And that's what people need to understand is this road to be where we all went through is not easy. It's not something that was just handed to us. If you want something in life, you got to go get it. You got to work for it. And the way I always tell my kids, and I want all the people out there to see it too, is if you want something, you have to go get it. No matter what it takes, you have to go get it. When you feel tired, somebody else is working just as hard as you. So when you feel tired or you feel doubt, trust me, there's somebody else that's looking at you, waiting to see you tap out. You take a second to breathe or whatever it is. You have to continue to put that work in. It's a grind. Nothing in this world, whether it's baseball or life in general, comes easy. You have to grind. You have to work. You have to do everything that people are not willing to do. That's what makes us who we are. Like to me, yeah, I'm retired, but I still work out. I still get after it because I know that in my mind, there's still somebody that wants to outwork me. What are you going to do to keep them from outworking you?
100%. Preach.
100%.
Okay, so here's the thing. You like what you saw today. This is the To the Majors podcast. You got to click, subscribe, show the love. I promise you what you see today is also going to be here next week. So you have to come back next week, see it, approve it, be a part of it, and also make that judgment and help others that are around you. The more that you come here and the more you spread the word, I promise you, the more this is going to build, and it's also going to help you as well. So come back next week, enjoy the following episode, but you got to see greatness today.